Happy match day 13, everybody. It is Club and Country. I'm Andrew Wiebe, David Goss, Tosaint, Ricketts, and Michael Lahoud. We are here to watch Canada, perhaps, probably, most likely, qualify for their first World Cup since 1986. That is the year I was born. I am 35 years old. We're talking about a veritable lifetime here. We hope you joined us the other day for U.S.-Mexico. Of course, Canada playing at the same time in Costa Rica for that one. Losing their first game of the octagonal. Doesn't really matter for Canada. They are still in a beautiful position. Today it's Jamaica at BMO Field. You can watch that game with us. We're going to be watching live. Here are your standings heading into match day 13. Just 2 games left for all of these teams. Canada, top of the octagonal, 25 points, plus 13 goal differential. They are in a very safe position. U.S. and Mexico need results today. U.S. is going to be hosting Panama in Orlando. We'll have a watch-along for that as well. It'll be a different video. We'll send that link out to you. But for the Canadians here, welcome. For the rest of you, we're here to make and watch history. Here's how they will qualify. It's pretty simple for Canada. Get a result. That's basically what it comes down to. Get a result, and you are into the World Cup. Win or draw against Jamaica, and they are in. Or El Salvador, win or draw against Costa Rica. That would take Costa Rica out of the chase, and you're in. Or Panama win versus USA. We don't like that last one. We don't want that last one. Panama win. Not for us. Not for us to say. Maybe you don't care. Maybe you're just like, let us in. But here is the arrival right now for the Canadian men's national team. As we watch these images, here comes the bus, the smoke popping, people out with the streamers. How does it feel on this day for you to say you've been in a position with this national team to attempt to qualify for a World Cup? You've worn the colors more than 60 times. How do you feel in this build-up moment? Are you nervous? Are you excited? What's up?
I feel ready. It's been a long time coming, many years of growth, obstacles, failures, successes. I think the moment's now. It's going to be today. And I can't wait to see it. I'm so excited.
What is the vibe like in Canada? You're in Vancouver, I'd assume, of course, still doing your thing, playing for the Vancouver Whitecaps. How have you felt over the last weeks or so as this built up to this moment?
Just a buzz, a different energy. People who are not normally talking about the national team are talking about the national team, talking about the players, what they're doing, how electric they look, the fight they have. I mean, last match, you guys seen it all. They were down a man, but it looked like they had 12 men in the pitch, that's huge. That's a different Canada. That's a fearless Canada, and that's what I expect to see today. And you could just tell the buzz is going across the whole entire nation.
To be at BMO, Dave. I thought you might pull the trigger for this one, to be honest.
I messed up.
I shouldn't be here. The trigger for this one. By the way, if you're watching right now or whatever you're doing, hit us up. Get in the comment section on YouTube. I'm monitoring that. Another screen for you right here. We have some folks saying, even if Canada lose, they're through, right? That's not the party we want. We want a win against Jamaica. So get at us. Get in the comment section or tweet at us using the hashtag Club and Country. When we see these images, I know, look, I'm a U.S. fan. That's just this is my country. This is my team. But I can't help but be both proud, but just excited. Excited to see Canada, Dave, enter the world stage in a different way. We always knew they had the potential. That potential is being realized now, and it's not just on the field; it's off it as well.
Yeah, and I think it's personal. I know for me that, TFC, the way that they set themselves up in 2007, I think helped grow Major League Soccer, and then Montreal and Vancouver have been huge parts of that. Then in college, and then in Orlando, to be in a moment like this, a Kyle Larin covered at UConn, to be at a level like this, Tajon Buchanan as well, and then you start to talk about the next generation and Alphonso Davies and Shaquille Marshall-Ruddy and all these pieces that are coming through. It's just so exciting to see it all come together. And as Toss said, there's a special, you see a team when they know they can win in any way. It's special. It's special when a team knows away or home that we can play our soccer and we can beat you. And that's what we saw from Canada, even with the loss. It's what we've seen from them over the last year and a half. And so I think this is, you look at this lineup and you look at, and there were some of these things that Herdman was sort of forced into, but this is like a let's win 7-1 and just blow it out type lineup. And this team has that possibility and that capability of doing that.
I want to say the 7-1 scoreline, maybe not one in Canadian history that we want to dwell on. We're having the other way.
Wow.
We have people in the comment section.
Bring it up. Huh?
Couldn't help myself.
Game hasn't even started yet.
Yeah,
The dichotomy, man. The dichotomy. That's the progress. But 4:05 p.m. Eastern is going to be this kickoff, Paramount Plus. You cannot watch here. People in the comment section saying, "Are we going to watch here with you? Is it going to be?" No, we cannot we don't have to.
Well, you're going to watch
right?
with us.
But we are going to be watching with you, and hopefully celebrating. Michael, what are you thinking as in the lead up to this game? What do you think about this 11 for Canada?
All right, I've been sitting on this. I hate going last. Let me take a big drink.
Is that the Welch's?
That is the sound of success that Canada is going to have tonight. Everyone's going to be breathing a sigh of relief because this is bigger than just Canadian soccer. This is North American soccer. This goes back to TFC. This goes back to everything that's being built. I think of the MLS draft, which we covered. Think of the pipeline of talent now coming through Canada, going through college. And when you're a young player, you have to have your heroes that you look up to. And these guys are living heroes. And I think they'll be remembered in history for what they're going to do today.
What do you think of the lineup, Tos? What do you think Herdman put out here?
I mean, it's just looking at it. It's a strong attacking lineup. You know, you see Larin and David up top, two prolific scorers. And then you have, Larea and Buchanan on both sides. And that's dangerous against any national team in the world. I don't care what fullback you are. You don't want those two guys running at you. For me there, that's enough. And then you add Osorio, Stakio, and Hoylett in the middle. Let's go.
And snow on the ground too. Like had a little bit of a late March, not blizzard, but just kind of normal flurry come through Toronto through the 6th. So they had snow on the ground. The fans don't care. The players don't care. In fact, maybe these are conditions that it was meant to be played in. I see Milan Borjan there, and I'm pretty sure, Tos, that you debuted in the same game for Canada as Milan Borjan. Am I right about that?
Yes. Greece and Thessaloniki, me and Milan and David Edgar, we all got our first caps for the national team in that time. So Milan's a close friend of mine. You know, I'm so happy for his success over the years. I'm happy that he's become a big leader with the national team, a strong voice. And then just through him, knowing him, like his passion will be contagious throughout the whole group. So it's nice that he's there and he's living up to the moment.
Tell me about the progression that you felt within the national team and also just what you felt representing Canada. Because all these guys are having this opportunity today, but there's building blocks to get there, and you're part of that build.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's been so many players, you know, just in my time from when I started till now. But what is different for me is that these players are in top environments, getting top minutes, and doing very big things for their clubs. Not saying that we didn't have that in the past, but we had a lack of that in the past. You know, we had players that were, you know, on good teams, but not getting the playing time, players that weren't in the proper environments, players that never got the right grassroots programs and right upbringing. But this is a group that, you know, they're all in great environments. They're all doing big things. They're confident. They're fearless. And, you know, this is a credit to everyone who paved the way.
We've got Jamaica's lineup out as well. It's not a, hey, we're out of it, we're not going to put anything into this, but they are, by the way, out of it. They cannot jump high enough to even have a chance to affect outside their own performance and the result against Canada. What happens in this World Cup, they will not be going to Qatar. How do you think they'll approach this game, Dave?
It is sort of we are out of it.
Yeah, they are. But that's the question. Like, how hard do they go, especially in conditions that aren't conducive maybe to the way they want to play, et cetera?
Yeah, one of the issues for Jamaica was just you have guys who were coming over for the first time ever for this qualifying cycle. And so it feels like a lot of those guys, maybe now that they're out, don't want to be traveling across the world to go to these games. You think of a Mikel Antonio, some of the other top players that have been available but aren't coming to this camp. And so a lot of guys getting their debuts or getting their first opportunities. A lot of players that are playing in the Jamaican Premier League right now, which is not where they always are drawing players from when they have their top choices. And so it'll be interesting. The central midfield, Speedy Williams, is probably the best lower division player in the U.S., and he's been really good throughout qualifying for them. And then Ravel Morrison alongside him is a mystery box of a human being, of a soccer player, of everything. He's capable of a moment. A little surprised to see Damon Lowe not get the start. And so, but you still have Mariappa at center back, who's a monster and, can sort of keep things held together. But you'd expect this is a Jamaica team that tries to hit in transition. It's what they did on the road against the U.S. in the opening game, at Costa Rica, at Mexico as well. And I think you see that in Herdman's team. While he had some limitations, Steven Vittoria has been shown in street clothes. He's not on the bench, not healthy for this one. So that's an option that got taken away. Obviously, Mark Anthony Kaye suspended as well. Tiba Hutchinson went the full 90, maybe a bit of a stretch to start him in this game. So that sort of put Herdman in a corner of who he went with. But he clearly went with a team that says we're going to dominate the ball. We're going to create chances. Could be a 4-4-2, could be a 4-3-3, could be a 5-3-2. There's a few different ways it can play, which has all been to Herdman's advantage over the course of qualifying. Of you step on the field, you think Alistair Johnson's going to play center back. Now he's at right back. Tajon's on the left side. Richie's on the right side. Next game, it's all swapped. But it seems like Canada and Jamaica sort of have the same idea of how this game's going to play out. And we have seen Jamaica get results in the past, against the run of play, against the ball. They've been pretty good at home, even with the chaos they've had over the course of this qualifying. So it'll be interesting to see sort of how they react. The other element of this, which I forgot until this week, is Jamaica and Toronto. This is like a home game normally for them when it's not Canada being, the best team in CONCACAF and now having all these fans. So I think they'll have something to play for. I think there'll be some green and yellow in the crowd, right, Tosaint?
Oh, of course. I've played games there where it was 40, 60, Jamaican fans at BMO Place. So there's a strong contingency of Jamaicans in Toronto and then in the GTA. So, but I'm just hoping that, all the fans come out today and drown that crowd.
We have Declan up in our comment section right now that says, "Hey, Tosaint, I played blackjack with you in the Bahamas a few
blackjack?
years back."
I don't even play blackjack.
He said you just won MLS Cup. Wrong table,
okay,
Declan.
Maybe I played blackjack then.
Hey, after you win a title, you're like, you know what?
Yeah.
These odds
I
might
can do
be
anything.
in my favor.
You do whatever you
These
want.
odds might be in my favor. We just got to let this thing ride. What do you think about the job that Herdman has done, Toss? Like, how has he changed things? Obviously, the pool is better, but he's instilled a belief, it seems like, that it's just sort of been unshakable.
No, for me, he's the ultimate motivator. No better person to be in charge, to be leading this group, a group of talented, probably big personalities, maybe egos in there, but he was able to bring everyone together and make everyone realize what being on the same page means. And, just during his time there, he's created a brotherhood. These guys, when they go on that field, they're not just fighting for themselves. They're fighting for the badge. They're fighting for everyone around them. And I think that's a credit to John Herdman and the culture that he's built within the program.
And one of the things I think you've seen with it, which I love, is he sort of is trust because they're players that are part of the group that he trusts, rather than sort of trying to dive down the depth chart and pull a guy in who's naturally a right back or a center back. I think he sort of has created like a group that everyone can cover for each other and sort of fill for each other. And that's what we've seen over this window is, Sam Adekugbe has been unreal at left back. He's suspended. Yeah. You still have guys, Richie hasn't played for Nottingham Forest, but he steps in with the confidence to play that spot, and the team sort of rallies around him in that spot. And I think that's been really cool to see from John. And this is now unique for him, which is everyone was playing all the time. And now Steven Eustachio goes to a new club. Richie Larea goes to a new club. We don't know what Milan Borjan's future will look like. So there's some new elements now of how does he use guys and sort of keep them confident, fit, maybe even help them find their next spot if they're not going to stay where they are. And I think there's going to be an interesting decision for Richie to make over the next few months. And so that's sort of a new element that John Herdman hadn't had to deal with, because as Toss said at the beginning, everyone's playing now. Everyone's a starter. Everyone's a star where they are.
But those are the type of issues that you want as a coach. You'd much rather have, the headache of where am I going to put someone, where are guys dealing with their club stuff, when you have this moment. I think back to this Canada team when they played against Mexico away in Mexico at the Azteca, and there was just something different about them. The audacity to step on that field, and for the first half in that game, they were dominant. Mexico didn't know what to do about them. And really, it was a switch in mentality that I'd never seen from the Canadian national team before against the big boys of CONCACAF. And they built on it and built on it. And when you get to this point, I remember a former teammate of mine, Jesse Marsh, he said this to us whenever we'd get into big games. He said, big games, when you win them, you get whatever you want at the highest level, whether it's international or European soccer. Because if you want a new contract, focus on this game. Everything else will take care of itself. For these Canadian players, for the Richie Lareyes, who are trying to find their foot and way in Europe, if you win this game, if you get to the World Cup, you think your opportunities are good now, it just balloons up more when the entire world's watching you in Qatar.
And it sure seems like that's going to happen. We're still TBD right now on the U.S., Mexico, Costa Rica, and Panama. Canada with this advantage at the top. Of course, you see on the window here, 25 points plus 13 goal differential. That goal differential that's the first tiebreaker. That matters a lot. And it looks like today they're set up to try to go get more of them. Of course, if they win or draw, it doesn't matter. They are in automatic qualification. Something that might have been, I don't know, not unthinkable, certainly, but the odds would not be what they were now, to say at the beginning of qualifying. You were part of qualifying past. One thing Canada had to do this time around that Mexico, U.S., Costa Rica, Panama did not is go through sort of the rigors just to get into the octagonal. Where was your mind when qualifying started? And there were some nervous moments just to get into the octagonal, let alone dominate it. Like, how has your mentality, your mindset toward qualification changed over the course of this campaign?
I mean, I was confident in the group from day one. With the changes in CONCACAF, some teams get stronger, some teams get weaker, but it was certain that Canada was getting stronger and stronger and was building towards qualification in the right way. But like saying all that, CONCACAF is deadly. It's tough, playing away. It's not easy. Going to some of these environments, it's not easy, and it takes a lot of character. It takes a great leader like we have in John Herdman. But I was confident from the start. I knew Canada was going to make it through, and I knew that, they were going to do big things. So, I don't know, maybe because I'm biased, but I was confident they won when they headed into qualifiers.
So here's the reminder of how fickle this sport can be. Coming into 2018, Canada wasn't going to be in the final round of qualifying because CONCACAF decided when they woke up that morning that they were going to use the FIFA World Rankings to pre-qualify the teams for the Hex, and there was going to be no play-in as there had been in the past. That came out of nowhere. And Canada was sitting, I think they were 7th in the FIFA rankings behind El Salvador, and all they had was Nations League to sort of try and catch up. And it was this bizarre situation of watching the points and seeing how do you sort of calculate this, how do you get there? And then because of COVID and qualifying being forced to shift and be condensed and all of that, they turned it back around and they auto-qualified the 6 teams, and then they had playoff spots, auto-qualified 4 teams, and then had playoff spots that Canada was then able to get in, had to win all those games, of course, played in an empty stadium in Bridgeview, Illinois as their home games, played away games at IMG in Florida. Like, the whole thing from start to finish has been a story, like a ridiculous story. And it would have been heartbreaking if Canada just had never gotten a shot to play at this level. But to go from that to now being the team that will sit on top and probably win this entire thing just shows you how quickly everything can change and how incredible it is. And as Tosaint said, it felt like the team just needed the half chance to play. Like, if they couldn't get on the field, they couldn't get on the field. But the moment they touched the field, they annihilated Bermuda in the first game. They rolled through qualifying Suriname, Haiti, like, every time they've gotten the chance, and maybe it felt like all the players understanding, like, we sort of just got a second life to live with and nothing to lose, and just went after it.
I also just love from the jump that, people were like, 2026. 2026, you're in Canada, you're good. And I just remember Jonathan Osorio giving like that very Jonathan Osorio kind of blank face stare of being like, what are you talking about? Like we're going to qualify for 22. Like we are good enough. We have the quality. Why are you even talking about 26? Sure, that's down the line, but this is our opportunity now. And so I have to imagine it feels just as a soccer nation to not be, it's not a gift. 2026 is not a gift, but to say, nah, F that, we're grabbing this. This is ours. And not only are we grabbing it, as Michael said, we're going to Azteca, we're handing it to L3. We're doing all these things that people didn't believe that we could do, but we did, and now we're executing. It has to be, I mean, you have to just have like this very deep feeling of pride, understanding what these guys had in front of them, the odds that they had, and the fact that they didn't just surmount those odds, they just annihilated them.
Yeah, I mean, it's special, man. And, you know, I couldn't be more proud, especially seeing how a lot of these players developed over the years, you know, the work they've put in to, you know, get their big moves, to get in an environment where they're, you know, seen as stars and get the respect that they deserve across the whole nation. Like even guys like Atiba, who I've seen he's been absolute class from the first day I stepped into the program. And just over the last like year or two, is he really getting the recognition, the praise, the fame across Canada like he deserves. And it's still not enough. But to see that they've, you know, accomplished so much, you know, got over so many different obstacles along the way, it's just it's a proud moment. And I'm just so happy to be here with you guys and here to see hopefully the moment today. So it's a very proud moment for sure.
Give me some good Atiba stories, man. Like, I look at Atiba and I'm like, how is he doing what he's doing? How is this possible? He's basically 40 years old, and he's still dominant. Like, it's crazy.
The guy's like fine wine, but he's the best human. You know, like when you're talking to Atiba, if he never talks about himself, he'll ask you 100 questions about your girlfriend, your family, your car, your schooling, if you're doing school. You can't even ask him anything about himself. That's just the type of guy he is. You know, he's very in tune with who he's dealing with. He's very humble. He's class from top to bottom. And he's just, he's definitely a mentor of mine. I'm happy that he's still involved and still going.
Come to Besiktas, man. Come to Besiktas. Even when they're on the national team, he's like, you can come. You should come. Richie, come here. No, Kyle, come here. Come to Turkey. Come where I am. It will work out for you. Here's a question for the two guys that have actually played professional soccer, international soccer in this chat here. You see the weather at BMO. No, not us, Dave. Certainly not us. Cool. You see the weather at BMO. They've had to, of course, clear the field of snow. How do the conditions affect the game today?
To say a hometown feel, I'll let you have this one. You go first.
I mean, I know those Jamaicans are going to be cold. That's for sure. Like my family, my parents were born in Jamaica, and the cold still bothers me, even though I was born in Canada. So I can only imagine what those true Jamaicans born in Kingston, Montego Bay, across Jamaica, what they're feeling in that cold. And I know how cold BMO can be on the lakeshore. So I'm hoping that, you know, they're feeling it in their bones.
Does the surface change at all when they have to clear it like this? Does it change the way that you play, with the grip that you have, with the cleat that you wear? Does anything change with that side of things? The groundskeepers do such. I mean, they're used to it.
I mean, you know, it's a soccer, man. Once you get on the pitch, you know, it may be a little bit hard. Once that whistle blows, you're not worrying about the pitch. You're not worrying about the cold. You know, they have one target in sight, and that's qualifying for the World Cup. And I don't think they're too worried about the pitch.
I can tell you this on the flip side of being in a Jamaica's shoes. When you play for Sierra Leone, unfortunately, you find yourself in Jamaica's shoes when it comes to World Cup qualification more times than not. But if there's one thing that they can galvanize themselves around, is to spoil the party. Oftentimes you see teams that have seemingly nothing to play for. You have one or two guys, and I think of a Ravel Morrison, who is such an enigma and a mystery box, as Goss said. But these are the type of atmospheres that guys like that, who are such a wild card, they get a feel for the game, and they make it a personal vendetta to silence the crowd. So from Jamaica, if you get a Ravel Morrison, you get something out of him, then it can make this game interesting. But 9 times out of 10, when you're coming from a warm weather country and you're going to a place where it's cold, freezing cold is what you're going to be feeling. It becomes the mind game. And as soon as you give in to, it's turf, it's cold, it's this, we don't have this that we're comfortable in, you're taking a big L. The game's done before it starts. So for Canada, hopefully Jamaica's feeling that. But if they're not, it could be a surprisingly tough game.
So reports now in Toronto, the snow had stopped. It was not snowing. It is now snowing again, as if on cue, just before kickoff. Here comes the snow. About 10 minutes till kickoff right now. Canadian flags throughout at BMO Field. I've seen a couple replica World Cup trophies in the stands as well. This just feels like you could say it's windy. I'm seeing these flags whip. You're not lying about that, Tosaint. It is super windy coming off the lake there. That might be the part of the weather that they're going to feel the most.
I mean, I've had some cold nights at BMO. I remember a couple finals where we had everything to play for, and my toes were still cold. So it can get the wind can get pretty vicious there on the lakeshore.
Yeah, I remember an MLS Cup final in a full stadium jacket, jumping up and down in the stands, trying to stay warm at the same time. Look, Canada, of course, trying to have their party here. They host Jamaica in about 10 minutes or so. U.S., Panama, Honduras, Mexico coming up after that. You can see in your screen here what the standings are. Top four at least have an opportunity to go to Qatar. All will go to Qatar, as we joked on the last show when we watched on Sunday. It depends on how you'll go. Will you go for a one-game playoff against Oceania? Or will you go as a World Cup team? TBD on that one. Fourth place gets that playoff. Right now, that's Costa Rica. U.S., of course, hosting Panama. Honduras hosting Mexico. And Costa Rica is playing El Salvador. What do we think? We have a question here. Who gets in outside Canada? What do you think, Michael? Who are the other two auto qualifiers? And then who is the playoff team in your mind?
I got to take a slow sip again.
I like that you're just going Welch's grape. Just Welch's grape on a Sunday afternoon, man.
Well, I don't want to say what Canada is because we have sponsors that do shows.
True. That's true.
So
grape soda.
Grape soda. There it is. United States. They from what they did in Azteca, I think the U.S. gets in. Let's hope so, at least. I think this is a team that they've had different things come up. They're young, they're hungry, and they're getting guys healthy. Gio Reyna healthy at the right time. I think he'll have a big say in the last couple games that remain. I think, I think El Tri are in big trouble. I think I could see them falling to a fourth place finish or finding themselves in a lot of muddied waters. And just from that result, I think Costa Rica will squeak in as well. I don't agree with the red card. Very fortunate to get out of San Jose alive with 3 points, but I think it's results like that come at the right time for teams like that just pip the tide in their favor just a bit more. And Panama, sorry.
It feels like Costa Rica is a team that has been here before. They know what it takes. They had the toughest schedule to start, and so the results weren't there, but it has now worked its way back around. And as Michael said, when you look at that Canada game, that's who they are. Right. And now they've got a crowd behind them. So they're going to have that for the USA game of just hang on, sort of find their spots, whether it's Joel Campbell in transition or set pieces, the best goalkeeper, experienced back line in front of him. I think Costa Rica, I feel fairly confident about Costa Rica. So I think it's going to be Canada, USA, and Mexico as the auto qualifiers, and Costa Rica in that playoff. Just looking for that big upset from the Solomon Islands over New Zealand to figure out that playoff.
Whoa, don't count out New Caledonia, man. Don't count.
No, they lost.
Oh, they're out? No.
Solomon Islands, New Zealand for the final.
Okay.
Come on, Wiebe. Right. Keep up to date with your ocean.
I'm trying to. There's a lot of qualification going on around the world. We got the players coming out, lining up, getting ready for the national anthems here. Oh man, we got a big day ahead in CONCACAF. For the U.S., there are some scenarios and some pretty clear ones, especially if they win against Panama and Orlando, that would put them through. But I think it really comes down to schedule and momentum at the end here. It just seemed like Costa Rica was scuffling there for a while. To win at home against Canada, I know they were a little fortunate on the red card. Maybe I'll get your thoughts on that in the second toss. But I just feel like their momentum, their player base, their experience, their schedule, with the U.S. coming there, with having El Salvador in this moment, with El Salvador already out, Those are big things in their favor. We'll see if they can get it done. But I think you're right. I think it's going to be U.S., Mexico, Canada, and then it's a toss-up between Costa Rica and Panama. Feels now like Costa Rica will be the one, but that's a U.S. fan saying that because I think the U.S. should win at home tonight, and we'll see if they do it. By the way, we'll have a watch-along for that as well. Mike's going to stick around for that one, and you have Matt Doyle and Susanna Collins. What did you think of the red card to Mark Anthony Kaye? He says he loves singing the anthem. To not have the opportunity to sing this anthem at BMO Field is a tough moment for him.
You do have to think every camera is searching for him right now during the Jamaica anthem. Be like, how do we get MAK on while he's belting the anthem in some suite somewhere?
I mean, the second yellow for me is so harsh. You know, how many times in a game do you bump shoulders with someone, or you know, there's a little scuffle, you push a little bit, and that was not even that. It was for me, it's very soft yellow card, but the first yellow card could have been a red, in my opinion, after seeing it slowed down. I mean, in real time, it didn't look that bad, but then once it slowed down, it looked like obviously they're looking through VAR and whatnot, but definitely a soft second yellow. Maybe it's a makeup, who knows, but you know, I didn't agree with it.
Yeah, it was like I can understand why it's called. Because the referee's reacting to he's reacting to what he sees, and he can't see what we can see on replay, right? He's like, oh, that must have been worse than it was. I'm thinking back to the Beasler and Joel Campbell play back in 2013 for the U.S., where if you watch it, you're like, what the hell? How can someone call this? And it's just so hard for a refereeing crew to see it all, and you got to expect Costa Rica is going to try to wring every little bit of advantage out of it. Do I like it? I don't think so. Do I wish that Mark would have just like held back in that moment? But I know that what makes him the player he has that edge. But man, it doesn't feel completely just. I don't think.
But like, don't they go back and look at that little shoulder bump on VAR and just
they can't because it's a yellow. If it was a straight red, they could have. But because it's a yellow, they can't go back and look at it, even though it's the second yellow to equate a red card.
Which also, I don't know that you can overturn it then because it happened.
Yeah.
Right? The contact occurs, whether it's soft, whether it's a dive, whether it's unnecessary, whether he was baited. The most you could do is add a yellow, I think,
probably to Venegas.
I think it was Johan Venegas.
Yeah, to Venegas. But
not take it away. I will say, off the anthem there, it gave me chills. One of the coolest moments I think I've ever had in a soccer stadium was the O Canada anthem before the 2016 MLS Cup. I hadn't been at a TFC game, and I was down on the field, and they have the woman who leads it sing like one line, and then she goes away, and the deafening noise of the crowd singing it, I almost pulled a muscle just whipping around me. What is happening? And it was so cool. And so I can only imagine, obviously, the history that's going to be made and the atmosphere, but I can only imagine what that one felt like in the stadium.
But what a luxury it is for Canada that you have such a key player like Mark Anthony Kaye that's out. This is Canada is in the position that they're in. This is why you do the work to be able to afford, we didn't get the result. People are pissed. The standard has been elevated by this team, by this country, and what they expect for this team. And now I think they're going to be even hungrier, and it's going to be that much more special. I think of it in basketball. Oftentimes you want to just win for the sake of winning because it's a championship and it matters, but it's that extra special feeling when you do it at home in front of your home fans and BMO Field. I remember when you talk about the anthem. Oh man, I remember the first time I ever stepped on BMO Field, which we were the same age, so it felt like eons ago. Yeah. But on a Wednesday night, never had been to Toronto, Canada. It was freezing cold, pouring rain, and when that anthem hits you, that let me know that, oh wow, I'm in for a big game. And TFC, they didn't have a good start to the season that year, but they looked like the best team in CONCACAF, let alone MLS that night. It's because the fans were behind them. That national anthem is just gave them that extra bit. So it'll be interesting to see how that impacts this Canadian team today.
Wiebe, I'm about to make you so
26 miles per hour.
I'm going to steal this question from you. Tosaint, does Milan have a sweatpants sponsor? Does he own a sweatpant company?
Can I just show you right now?
Look at like Lululemon.
The Milan Borjan sweats. These are literally the Milan Borjan sweats.
Has to be Lulu's.
I don't know, man. They look more like secondhand pants sometimes that he bought in a random spot.
They look like they're from Rocky, like a set pants from Rocky.
They very much look like he went to a boxing gym and stole a bunch of extra pairs.
Honestly, I'm just outed myself as wearing sweatpants off camera. They are exactly the same. Like I saw Milan wearing those, and I was like, "Oh, I'm wearing those right now." The little bit of spandex in them, yeah, tight on the bottom, yeah, the gray. I need to get the custom Canada patch on my right thigh. But I've said this before: if this Halloween half of Canada is not Milan Borjan for Halloween, they're missing out on a very easy and obvious costume.
Let's
Get a bald cap going, get the sweatpants, get the goalkeeper jersey, get a World Cup trophy in your hand, and you're ready to go, man. That's it. You'll be nice and warm on October 31st. Game on, by the way, everybody in the comment section. If you're in Canada, I believe One Soccer is your spot for this one, but we're rolling.
What's up, Don?
By the way, my theory is that Kamal Miller got in the camp and Atiba was like, bro, you just got to shave the head. Because Kamal Miller came in with hair of the first camp of the window, and he came out looking like Atiba, and I think that everyone's going to get cut by the end of this.
Atiba's been bicking his head for a long time.
Aggressive at the start for Canada, trying to win the ball back right above the 18. David, Laren.
Bumper cars to start things out.
Good ball back across, tipped over. Who's your favorite player to watch on this team? Who's the guy that you just enjoy watching, whether it be in MLS or outside?
I mean, I love Kyle Lahren, of course, just because of his finishing ability. You know, he's so clean in the box. You know, clean touches, clean finishing. But you know, just in terms of sheer entertainment, Tosaint, man, this guy is fearless. You know, just every opportunity to go at someone, he's just going at him. You know, and you gotta love that out of a player. Absolutely fearless.
It's been so fun to watch him just sort of like level up. I mean, I still remember getting the start in the playoffs for the Revs, and it was sort of like, okay, well, what are we going to get from Tosaint? And he goes out and basically dominates and gets in Nani's head from the jump. And then it was like a meteor. Like you just couldn't stop him. The way his confidence seemed to build and build and build and build, and the opportunities he took advantage of, and the place he has now, and what was, you know, the best team in regular season history, arguably. I know you might have some arguments about that, but yeah, it's been awesome to watch.
It's nice to see Sam back in the lineup.
Yeah,
he's a boss. I like him a lot. I like that goal against the U.S. Holy smokes! This is a family show. I can't say what I was actually good at shit, but holy smokes, like a runaway train.
And just his emergence to allow Herdman to use Fonzie however he needs to. Because coming into the World Cup qualifying, it was like, well, he's a left back for Bayern, but he's best player in the history maybe of the country. How do you use him? And then I remember that Bermuda game when Adekube started alongside him at left center back and just covered the whole wing by himself. And it was like, oh, cool, there's another elite left back on this roster. So Fonzie can basically play number 10 and do whatever he needs to do.
Tosaint, what being from the Toronto area, what's your thoughts on Osario and kind of his evolution in MLS and the Canadian national team?
I mean, I've seen him from, I think, when he got his first cap, you know, and just knowing him, playing alongside him at TFC, he has so much heart, you know, he has so much passion for the game. He's been steady growing his game over the years. And, you know, he's just a great teammate. And by
the way, that turn by Jonathan David off that touch is absurd. The run is absurd. Goal, give it to me. Oh, the touch and turn by Jonathan David. He made a near impossible, like, driven ball at his shin.
Ooh.
Look like the easiest thing in the world.
The run,
good
though.
Lord.
Dang.
Just
so he does that. He does that on the regular for Lille. I think that's one of the most underrated parts of his game. Oof. Just the link-up play to be able to drop off the two center backs, get in the half space in the pocket, and then turn at will.
Ooh.
Yeah, for Lille, he doesn't sit hot. Like, he's willing to come back and get the ball, as you said, Michael, which is what I like about him, is he doesn't just wait for service. He's able to, you know, become an effective player.
What do we think about the Milan Borjan hat? I mean, I guess after I made the bald cap joke here, I guess he would need coverage to help him with heat regulation. Like that does.
As the resident bald guy in the group, I'll tell you, hats are a key part of the accessories.
Hey man,
at this point, I think of hats first, and then I deal with the rest of it.
I'm telling you, for Halloween, well, in another dimension, this would be a dread cap and not real hair. So I'm with you.
Gotta keep it warm. That was a little chance for Jamaica there. We'll have Pat Onstad, by the way, folks, joining us here in a little bit. Pat, of course, he's been through 3 qualification cycles with Canada as well. Been through a lot. Now in a decision-making position with Houston Dynamo. The GM there just signed, of course, Hector Herrera to the Dynamo, but I'm sure watching this game very closely and very interested to see how this happens. So once we get Pat ready, we'll get him through and chat with him a little bit about what he sees and what he feels during the what we hope will be a successful into the qualification cycle for Canada. We're putting the pressure on Jamaica right now. A little slip ball there from Junior. No, cleared out. Looks like Jamaica's going to be under pressure.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's bring Pat on.
Okay.
Pat, what's up, man?
Hey, Andrew, how you doing?
Doing good. Just watching
I'll
Canada.
keep looking up. I got the TVs right above me.
I know. Watch the game. Talking to the microphone, man. This is a big moment. We've asked Tosaint how he feels as he watches what we expect to be history here. It just takes a result, and maybe not, but we hope this happens with a win. Pressure's on Jamaica right now. You've been through 3 World Cup qualification cycles with Canada. Looks like it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen in style. How do you feel?
I'm excited, but I hate to say it because I've been through 3 ones that didn't go so well. I'm still, let's get a goal. Let's make this comfortable. I don't want this for 75 minutes where I'm kind of sitting on the edge of my seat, but they're off to a fantastic start. That's for sure.
Go ahead. Did you think this would be coming when you were playing and sort of the struggles at times you guys had in qualifying? Did you think that this was in the future or this soon?
Not in this style. No, I'll be honest. Never in this style. I think, the players that I kind of grew up playing with, we were different style of soccer, obviously. I don't think we were as quick and as dynamic, and certainly we weren't playing at the levels that some of our players are playing at now. But this is enjoyable to watch. It's fun. It's fun to see Canada really just thrive. So I think this is an exciting moment for the country.
Pat, a guy that we both know that when you talk about players that you played with, I promise I'll give him a shout out because I saw him at the family barbecue, like Tony Capasso.
Nice.
As former alumni of the Canadian national team, have you guys talked about what you're going to do to celebrate once the final whistle blows for Canada to qualify?
I'm going to get drunk.
That's the right way to do it. Yeah, that's the right way to do it.
There's nothing else. There's going to be drunk, and I'm going to call guys that I know have put their heart and soul into this. One guy comes to mind is Morgan Quarry, who was a guy that worked really hard for the organization for years, and I know it'll be kind of bittersweet that he's not there, but at the same token, I'm sure he's excited for the soccer community.
Pat, for you and Toss, what's the brotherhood like? Within sort of former and current Canadian internationals, but people that built the game, because it's not only about whether or not you pulled on the colors. There's so many more people that have to go into realizing a dream like this.
Yeah, I think it's different. Obviously, I think it's my era is a little different than Tosaint, so it's a different era, and I think for a lot of us, we're still involved in the game on the fringes. But it's nice to see when you see a guy like a Mark Watson get an opportunity. These are the guys that I grew up with. Actually, yesterday, our Houston Dynamo 2 played the Vancouver Whitecaps second team, and Nick Dazovic, who's a good friend of mine and is the head coach there too. So it's nice seeing that kind of group still involved in the game. And I know for this game tonight right now, they're excited.
I know you guys don't want to think about this. I don't even want to bring up the scenario, honestly. I was like, okay, well, the World Cup's at this time, but it's after MLS Cup, I guess. Do you try to get there? Like, do you make sure that you're there for these matches? How will you?
It'll depend how our team looks.
That's fair. That you might. Well, maybe you're scouting there, Pat. Maybe you're scouting.
Yeah, maybe that'd be nice. That'd be a nice place to be scouting.
Start setting.
You took 3 points off us already.
Yeah. Well, listen, I was lucky. I got to, I did get the scouts a pretty nice game when it was Man United at Atletico Madrid. That's a nice one. Nice one to scout. That not too many, I think, GMs get that opportunity in our league. So you never know.
Pat, I just want to offer up, if you need an official scout to go to Qatar and watch the Canada games in your steed, I could be available. I can open up my calendar. Just give me prior warning. That's all I have.
I think what I need you for is I need you to help me with the youth game. That's what I'm listening more and more about this. Is we want to get younger, and I might be picking your brain for that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
his name is Marcelo Palomino.
Yes, exactly. Did you see the goal he scored, by the way, last night?
Decent one.
Unbelievable.
Decent free kick, huh? We need to hear about Ache because we're going to watch, of course, to see what happens with Mexico later on, and we were all watching super closely the other night in Mexico City.
Yeah.
I remember we had you on Decision Day, and we were sort of talking about what comes next, and even I don't think even I thought, okay, Ache was the sort of target that we might hear coming to the Houston Dynamo in the time of career he is. Tell us sort of start to finish how, why, and everything in between, how that got done.
Yeah, well, that was not someone I had in the back of my mind when we were talking last, was it November? But I think what happened is, to be fair to him, his agent as well had reached out. They had gone down the road with a few other teams in years past. And I think the timing for them was just right. They looked at our market. I think they probably talked to a few teams. Once we realized it was, we had to put a discovery resolution in. And then once we started diving in and be able to show him what we had planned and what our project was, he got excited. And I think the fact that it is Houston, we've never really had a top Mexican star in our city. So it's an opportunity for him off the field as well. But he was really excited, connected really well with Paulo Nagamura. Asher Mendelson did a ton of work on the job, so on this deal. So it was pretty exciting, and I have to give Ted Siegel credit as well, because I'd gone in and said, "Here's the budget I want." And he said, "Okay, great, we're good to go." And then about 8 days later, I knocked on his door and said, "Can you give me some more?"
That tends to be what happens to budgets. It seems like, right? Like you feel very confident.
Yeah, to be fair, he jumped and said no problem, and as soon as he heard it was for Hector, he was all on board.
What's the sell on like his role within the team, or at least what are you saying that you can build this, you can be this? Oh, he's ahead of us. He's ahead of us. Let's go slip on through. Yes, there it is. Who else? Who else but Kyle, the leading goal scorer? You see the Maple Leafs in the air, man. The flag's waving at BMO. It looks like you stuck the ball. The celebration is on, baby.
Hey,
the celebration is on.
Might start drinking soon.
Eustachio is one of the most underrated players in this Canadian national team. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. He was doing this sort of stuff. He was the linchpin of galvanizing the team back in that Costa Rica game. And so it's just literally he was doing this sort of stuff. It's awesome through ball.
Really had him pinned back. Opens up those lanes because Jamaica's so flat across the back, and they don't have anybody to apply pressure in the midfield. And that's what Laren does, man. He sits on that shoulder, get him in position.
He's one goal away from being tied for Golden Boot across the planet in World Cup qualifying.
Wow.
He is the second highest goal scorer right now in the entire world on 13, and as Wiebe said, by far the top in CONCACAF.
Yeah, live standings for you folks. So that's Canada up to 28 points. They're celebrating at BMO. Toss, give us the striker's perspective on that goal, man, and on Kyle.
Just stayed on side, bent his run, and then a perfectly weighted ball by Eustachio. And then, Kyle, once he gets into those situations, he's not missing. He's a clean finisher, like I was alluding to earlier, and then you just seen it again right there. And there's you know exactly why he's top of the world right now. Like you said, he could be the top scorer, Golden Boot. And that's exactly why he doesn't miss those chances.
Toss, don't you think he's improved a lot in his finishing in terms of like once he left Orlando and then now abroad? He seems like he's just calmer in those moments. I think when Orlando.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he did score. He did score a lot though in Orlando.
He did.
And that's coming from university. So I mean, just experience. Getting in a good environment. Training games. He's only going to go up from where he was in Orlando.
Oh man, maybe Adekugbe puts just a little bit more juice on that ball, and he's in behind just a little more. Oh, you know what? I was like, what should I do today? Should I do the Canada watch along or the US watch along? I was like, I'm doing the Canada one. I need to for one, I need to experience the US one in private.
Yes.
Here it is. Touch through. Oh, are you kidding me? Jonathan David drags it wide. Nice little ball into the soft spot from Kyle Larin.
To be fair, he normally finishes that too.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Here's a question for both you. Who is your best player for Canada right now? If you have to pick one, there can be only one.
Well, he's not playing.
I mean, being a striker for me, it's Kyle. You know, he's scored so many goals along the way. You know, that's what he's there for. That's what he needs to do, and I think he's done his job up to this point. So for me, Kyle Larin, you know, just scoring in the right moments.
Milan's going to be upset. I'm not going to say him, but
I was about to say, is Pat going to go goalkeeper?
Milan's sweatpants probably maybe the most
Listen,
valuable player
those are
right now.
class. Don't knock those.
I've never knocked them. I'm literally.
I grew up wearing those things. I'm like, it's full circle. This is it. It's perfect.
I'm wearing the Milan sweatpants as we speak. I have advocated that Milan should be selling these sweatpants. People should be dressing up as the man for Halloween.
I just want him to cut him short and do the knickers. You know, the ones that were just above the knee. That was like the Phil Parks. My mom used to do that with those pants. Cut them short, and as a kid growing up, I had these Phil Parks knickers and stuff on. It was amazing.
Is there like Pat? I feel like goalkeeper has been a position of success. Yourself, Greg Sutton, obviously Maxime Crépin now, Milan in between. It feels like that's always been a position. Is there like a reason for that, or is it just the same as like great athletes getting stuck between the pipes?
Maybe that's it. It's the athletic side. I think you can get away, right? It's as a goalkeeper, you can play basketball, you can hand-eye coordination, play hockey, lacrosse, and it translates probably to that position. You're forgetting like Craig Forrest, Paul Dolan, Tino Lettieri. I mean, you're talking. There's a lot of good Paulo Ceccarelli, Pat Harrington. So we've had a pretty good line of goalkeepers. I think we've been fortunate, but you know, now you can see we've got the full package. So it's great, good to see.
What do you think of the
compete? There's not enough spots anymore.
What do you think of the pants and hat combo for Milan in this game?
That's okay. It's nice. It's not bad. He looks warm. I can't say that I was going to make a Matt Turner comment about frostbite. You know, that's not. That's a fable. That's a fable. It's not true. It's not true.
Well, they don't get that in Canada, though. You guys are used to that. In Canada, you're accustomed to that. That's not even a problem for you. You know how to deal with it. Like, you've been there before, played mini games in the U8
You're also
ranks.
Smart enough to kick off during the day. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Don't do it at night.
Hey, 3 points. That's all I can say. In Minnesota, they got 3 points. That's all that really matters. So.
When you think about,
I was actually at that game in Mexico the other day, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
how was the atmosphere?
Terrible.
Yeah, it seemed like it was muted.
Absolutely awful. I mean, which was fantastic for the U.S. I've never experienced that. And Toss has probably gone down there and played in the Wednesday at noon in front of 95,000 people, and you can't even talk to one another. I actually brought our president down, telling him, "Oh, this is going to be amazing. The atmosphere." And he kind of looks at me and says, "Really?" There goes Atlanta's a lot louder.
Liar.
Yeah, exactly. So never mind.
I thought it was weird. I know there's a lot of things going into play there, and obviously COVID's one of them. And you know, I'm sure that they had a lot of different security measures that they had in place. But like that game to me was a little bit of a bummer in the sense that it was probably the last time between the U.S. and Mexico to have that true Azteca it's survival sort of game. Like I don't know what World Cup qualifying will be like in the future. I don't know what competitions they'll introduce. But to not have it be the 95 middle of the day, oppressive crowd, oppressive conditions, like just complete psychological test was just a little bit of a downer for me. And then not to get any goals, like misses aren't going to be iconic moments in the history of that rivalry. They're just not. A 0-0 is not going to be that. And I was really hoping for, of course, from the U.S. perspective, but, you know, regardless of just something that could be so memorable. Like that's what we want from those games, and to not get that was a little bit. It was a little disappointing.
That's why I flew down there, and just the reason I was going. But for that,
just to witness,
yeah, exactly. And it was disappointing. I mean, it was a fantastic performance, I think, from the U.S. considering that point ended up being a lot bigger than they probably thought it was going to be with Panama dropping points. But it was an interesting environment, and they had the opportunity to go out and not steal, but take the 3 points and didn't do it. But there's something with Mexico. I don't know what it is. They're not that same mystique that they've had in the past. Certainly not this cycle.
I mean, I don't mind this shift, because back in the day, going to Azteca was scary, But I think now in the new CONCACAF, going to Edmonton is not scary.
So you're saying Edmonton's the new
playing at
Azteca?
BMO,
The ice
playing at BMO and nights like this or days like this. I mean, when it's cold, I think that's more mentally a suffer. Oh,
come on!
So much room in this game for Adekubi to. Oh no!
Tajon.
Oh,
Who's the one who's ahead here? Someone's ahead by like 3 seconds.
First.
Yeah, I think Tosaint.
It's me. Should I push live again, or should you guys?
No, you're good. You just live your life, man.
I think I'm right there with you.
Yeah, live your life. This
I'm
was
that
was like 45
kind of
seconds
holding back a
behind
bit
the
because I
US.
know I'm a few seconds ahead.
Now, as the Canadian who has struggled through the other things, you deserve to be first.
I deserve this 10 seconds.
In fact, you've earned being first. That's the way this has worked out for
Can I ask you guys, and I don't know if you've even noticed this because this is more of like the deep fan stuff, but obviously with the weird window and the way things have gone, Tosaint mentioned Edmonton getting the one game, but most of the games have been Toronto and Vancouver didn't get any. Obviously a place you're both quite familiar with. Yeah. Do you make anything of that, or were you upset to see that?
Not with their home record, no.
I
would love to see games in Vancouver, and I'm sure they'll do their best to make sure the team plays there. But it's all about getting results at home, and I think that's been a big problem we've had historically in qualifying. Is we have not been a threat at home. We haven't played in horrible conditions. I remember playing in Edmonton. We played Trinidad in the summer, and they had a steel band before the game for warm up. I'm going, this is supposed to be our game. It was amazing, and Dwight York's like smashing balls past us and stuff. So we need those advantages. We need Edmonton. We need a snowy day in Toronto like this. This is perfect. This is what we need to do to qualify. And you go back to Mexico. No one's saying, oh, well, Mexico shouldn't play at noon on a Wednesday in 95-degree heat and smog. So, I think if you can get the advantage, then take it. Mm-hmm. Take it.
Yeah, I agree with Pat. BC Place is a little comfortable in terms of conditions. You're inside. It's controlled. There's no wind. There's no cold. There's no sun. It's just a closed stadium. So in terms of a competitive edge and competitive advantage, I feel like the venues have been great.
What did it mean to you as an Edmonton guy, Toss, to see that win in Edmonton?
It meant so much because I think I've played a couple games there, but I've never seen Commonwealth like that. And just to know that my nieces and nephews and, future soccer players like within my family, within our youth, are watching these games and watching these players and being inspired, that a game like this is happening in their hometown in such a crucial moment, was very special to me personally, and special for Canada soccer in general.
Oh,
they are finding so much space.
Every time I talk, something happens.
I know. The left side is just torn apart for Jamaica, whether it be Adekubi or whether it be David drifting over. They are really having a good time over there. Oh, just no lane for the drop to Tajon, unfortunately, there.
Toss, you've been part of the group more recently. I'm curious, with Junior Hoylett obviously doing his thing, all the dual national stuff, when you're in the team, are you reaching out to these players? Are you helping, trying to get them in? And obviously it's shifted a ton now over the last 3 years with the success for Canada. Do you think that's just down to team winning games?
Yeah, obviously success attracts, when you have players like Alfonso in the program.
Just keep talking. Just keep talking.
You see, every
talking.
time.
Why are you stopping? They're trying to pile on here.
Guys like this in the program definitely attract the big players to commit and get with the movement. But I remember Simeon Jackson was the one that brought Junior Hoylett on board. I remember David Edgar was the one that brought Scott Arfield on board. You know, like it always takes another player just to push that player over the edge and know that they have support within the group and that they're wanted in this team or with this for this country.
We got Tosaint's thoughts on Herdman, Pat, but I'm curious from your point of view as a guy who's in sort of the front office / coaching side of the sport, the job that he's done from afar. What do you make of it?
Yeah, and it is. I will say it's from afar. So I've never met the man. I've talked to him on the phone a few times, but what I will say is he's brought a level of organization and professionalism to the group that they know he's developed an environment that these guys are hungry to come into and be a part of. And I think we haven't always had that. We've had that with some coaches. I would not to say that we haven't had some fantastic coaches that have done that, but I think recently it's been difficult for the guys to buy into the program. And he's done a fantastic job getting these guys. These guys are all in. So when you see them after, you hear their interviews after games, this is a culture that he's developed and done it, worked hard at it. So it's fun to watch the change and see these guys, fight for the red and white.
We have about 5 minutes
with
you
guys.
Pat,
so you guys know, in solidarity with Toronto, it's now hailing in New York City all of a sudden after being sunny. So we're with you. We got you.
We should have played our game in New York City, apparently. Boy, this left side is just getting absolutely ripped apart. Yeah. They are just shoving it.
Poor Javane.
They have like 4 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I know. And Javane, I really like Javane, man. I think he's a really good player. You
might have to take him out for drinks after this one and thank him and apologize.
Before we let you go, Pat,
girl, young lad.
Speaking of culture, tell us where things stand with the Dynamo in your eyes, and what you're working on, what people should look forward to, and how you've evaluated the start to the season.
Yeah, so far so good. I think we're, as most teams, I think when you change, you focus on the defensive side a little bit, and I think we've done a good job of that and limiting. I mean, last year we gave up 59 goals, so we know we couldn't continue that way to win games in our league. So we need to work a bit more on the offensive side. We're bringing in Thiago from Brazil, a young player, but just to get a little more competition out wide. And to be fair, Darwin Quintero has kind of made a difference for us in the last couple of games when we played him. He's offensively, he's fantastic, and he's kind of bought into what Paulo's doing. So it's been really good. Sorry, I see hands up in the air. Got to look upstairs.
Sorry, no, it's just Tejan trying to embarrass defenders.
Yeah. Well,
I kind of hoped he would have held on to the ball. He let it go off for a corner, but he was the little step over the step.
We'll have you on in 10 years to talk about the next qualifying cycle, and you'll still be saying Darwin Quintero in the attack.
He might be.
Man feels timeless.
Never know. I know.
He's a genius.
Yeah, he's good. He's really good. And to be fair, he's bought in, and he's putting in certainly more work than he probably has in the past. And I think that's due to Paulo really making a good effort to talk to him and communicate with him and just let him know, make it as simple as possible on the defensive side of the ball. And then offensively, you try to get him in good pockets of space so that he can create problems for teams. So we'll keep working at it, but I'm excited to where the guys are. I think we know it's not going to turn overnight, but pretty happy with the progress that we've made so far.
Where do you want to be when?
Sorry, can we ask just about Thiago? What you expect? How quickly? What should we see?
We should. Well, the big one is obviously trying to get work permits, as everyone has to talk about. But actually, it's gone pretty quick. I think we should have him in by the end of the week, maybe even sooner than that. So that would be fantastic. And then for us, he's a wide guy. Plays better on the right, coming in with his left foot. He's left-footed, and is good at combining, and actually has good strike from distance. Can run behind. He's actually pretty quick and strong, like kind of stockier, a little more powerful. But he can play on the left. And for us, we feel like we have, for the most part, we do have guys that can play on either side. Corey's better, probably on the right, more comfortable there, just stretching the line. But Fafa can play right or left. So we'll see how that goes. And Tyler Pasher, while he plays on the right a lot with the left-footed, it can also be an out-and-out ringer on the left side. So we've got some options, and we'll have to try to create. It'd be nice if Seba, we got to get him going. He hasn't scored yet, obviously, in 4 games, so that's a concern. He's down with Paraguay right now, so we're kind of hoping sometimes guys that get away for a week to 10 days come back, feel rejuvenated, and we're hoping we get him going. He's a type of player that needs service in the box. If he's outside doing Tejan stepovers on the wing, that's not motivating. That's not good for us. He's a guy that needs service, and to be fair to him, we haven't really given him a lot. So He had a good opportunity last game, which was nice to see. So hopefully we can build on that. And then actually we're happy with our draft pick. Thor Ulfarsson has done fantastic from Duke, and he brought a big spark in the last game when we kind of pulled it back late. So it's nice to see.
All right, last one. Ache, when do you expect to have him in? What's the sort of integration timeline for him?
They finish on the 22nd unless they make Champions League final on the 29th, I believe it is. That one, if you're asking me if there's a World Cup, I might try to see if I can sneak a ticket for that one.
Yeah.
Available. I think it's only fair, right? You have to make sure you're watching your players, right?
Yeah.
So
that's the job. Look, you have to be there, right?
Exactly. We haven't had a long discussion. We had a discussion when I was in Madrid with him. But he'll need some time. He'll need a few weeks off because he's going to have a long season with us, and then right into hopefully what will be a World Cup for him as well. So if he does that, he's going to need a little bit of time off. But we should have him on the ground and training with our group. We're hoping in July, and then as soon as the window opens, he'll be available to be playing games. So we're excited to get him in. He's a really good human being, and then a fantastic leader as well. And it's something I think that all the guys in our group are looking forward to playing with a player of his quality.
Massive signing for the Dynamo. Pat, we'll let you go, man. We'll let you if you want to. You could stick with it if you wanted, but if you got to get going and do your thing,
tall story, man. But I'm gonna go going to open up a beer right away.
There you go.
Cheers.
I should probably go upstairs and get myself. I might go upstairs and get myself a beer here in the coming minutes as well. Big thanks, Pat. Thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Take care.
Yep. Oh man, so many opportunities. So many opportunities. We're like waiting for that next moment. It can't. Are you feeling comfortable right now at the center? You're like, not comfortable till it's at
comfortable.
Least
we got a goal, man.
Come on. This left side is just for Canada. It's just money. It is just.
Can I say
money.
this? I love talking to Pat. He's awesome. I'm excited what he's doing in Houston. But you got into that next level when you're casually like, I'm hoping Mexico's in the World Cup because I signed Ache. No one's rooting for Mexico to qualify, but Pat's he's got to keep it.
Canada.
Don't jump.
Okay, let's not talk. This Tosaint. You haven't been talking enough. That's the issue. Like when you talk, they have goal scoring opportunities.
Oof.
That's the issue here. These are
but it was nice to speak with Pat there. Just being a GM in an MLS club. That's something that I aspire to be. That's something I'm working towards and really want to do in the future. So to see a Canadian as a GM in an American team is huge. And he's definitely someone I look up to, and someone I'll definitely ask for advice along the way.
What are you working on? What are you? You're still playing, but obviously thinking about the next step. What's the dream, and what are the steps right now that you feel like you're taking to get closer?
Well, Vancouver's been great. Last year, I did my internship to finish my Bachelor's of Science in Sports Management. I did an internship in the community department, community diversity, inclusion, and community, as well as doing other things across the club, sitting in meetings, and basically just getting experience across the whole front office. Wait,
dude, I swear this left side, like you are Javain.
Hanger.
Get across. Where's it at? Oh, it's just
give it to him.
Oh. Astoria from the top. Turn it. Hit it again. Back close.
I tell you what, Tajon has had so many almost moments in the last week. It just ever since he went to Europe. Come on, Tajon.
I'm telling you, like mid-season last year, Revs Tajon has got 2 goals and an assist right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's who he was at the Gold Cup last year, right?
Yeah,
Fonzie, no Jonathan David, and he dominated.
Unstoppable.
Oh, that goal
was close,
Mexico.
We'll get one more.
So
it's coming. It's coming. There's not just one goal in this game. No doubt about that.
So let's talk about Canada.
Yeah.
Should they do the business and this scoreline holds on? Do you like Jonathan David as your attacking midfielder? I kind of like what I'm seeing for him. I've never seen him play in this, dropping off as a second forward and even as a number 10 for Canada. Do you stick with that moving forward in the World Cup?
You asking me?
Yeah,
I'm asking anyone.
I think
I would answer,
but with the way that they play, I think if Kyle's available, that is the best position to me for Jonathan David.
Yeah.
to drop in a little
For
bit,
me-
to have the opportunity to play those balls, but also to have the opportunity to have space to run into and a player running in front of him to change the way defenses react. Like, he's not just a goal scorer in any means. Like, that would be doing a disservice to him, I think, to call him just that.
And Kyle likes to drop in the pocket a lot too and get the ball, pick it up, and pass it out wide or slip balls as well. So I feel like it's just more fluid with them too. If Kyle drops into the pocket, David can get up and, be that attacking threat forward, and vice versa. So I think it just adds a little more fluidity to their attack.
If Canada's, let's say you're talking about a World Cup and they're fully healthy, there's going to be an odd man out. Someone who we think is a locked-in starter is going to be coming off the bench, whether it's Tajon, whether it's Oso, Richie. There's a ton of questions there, which is a luxury and great. But it'll be interesting just to see how Herdman sort of puts together his best group.
Who do you leave
and he's
off
been super aggressive.
Yeah.
In
So who do you
qualifying.
leave off the 11 then? Who'd be just boom?
I'd have to see Tajon play wing back more in Belgium to say I'd start him there. And if he's not starting there, then I think he's behind, right? Larin, Fonzie, and David, if it's those three floating through that attack. I think he's sort of the one who's fighting for a spot, but he can play both sides and he can play on the attack and the back line. So he's probably your first sub then in. That would be my guess. That's if you're playing
even
five
just
back as well.
Even thinking about just the whole tactical approach, like bringing him on with 30 minutes left is dangerous for any team. It's not anything to do with his talent or what he could do for the team, but even in a strategic approach, bringing him on late in games could be the difference.
To me, that's the difference in maybe Canada of years past, who maybe didn't like. It's definitely in volume. Like, the number of volume difference makers on this team in the attacking third that can just take over games on their own is pretty incredible. But that's where you start to look at Canada and think, well, they're going to be a power for a long time. To say, okay, Tajon goes to the bench, and Alfonso comes in, and we have Kyle, and we have Jonathan, and to look at the level across the board of talent, like, hey, Cavallini's not going to get a sniff. Hey, by the way, Ayo's here. Like, Ugbo, where's he going to play? He's been scoring a ton of goals in Europe. There are just so many options. That's where you look to the World Cup, and I'm like, okay, what can Canada do in Qatar? Because they can truly might be the team in CONCACAF right now that you look at and say has the best shot to make a run into the knockout rounds, to do something special, just given the level of talent that's on the field, game in, game out. Where do you play Fonzie? Where do you think he's best? Tosaint?
Anywhere on the pitch.
On the field.
Get him on the field somewhere.
That's awesome.
It's hard to say. I feel like, especially come World Cup, if everything goes well and qualify, of course we're almost there. You're gonna have to take it match by match. In a match where you really want to go after it and really push, maybe you push them up a little forward. A match where you need to, maybe have a more not defensive approach, but just a more cautious approach. Maybe you drop him back a little bit. I mean, just got to find a place for him somewhere and then build the team around.
I wonder if we're competing with him on Twitch right now. Did you see him?
Let's go, Sam.
Oh my God! They how many of these cutbacks? Oh,
This left side.
That's what I'm saying. And this is that's probably the 12th time they've gotten that position to play like a very, very unpressured cutback in and around the top of the. I mean there's no pressure on anybody.
It could be 4-0.
Who played that ball? That was just a vicious ball outside of the foot. What?
I love the Canada crest, by the way. The Canada crest is class with the top of the maple leaf and the ball and Canada in the middle. It feels a little old school, but it feels modern too.
Classic.
Yeah, I wasn't
awesome.
sure about this. Wait. I think it was Hoylett on the original ball. Michael. Dropping in. I'll say this. I think when Canada's been their best, whatever the formation is, it's Fonzie with Adekugbe alongside him, just because they read each other so well. And Sam can do everything. He can come inside and defend, crosses from the far side and be physical. He can also get up the line. He can connect. I think him and then when Fonzie's on the left, picking up spots, Lahren reads his movement so well as well. And you'll see Kyle like come outside and sort of play as a winger when Fonzie drops inside or link up with him. So whatever the formation is, I think those three to me are keys to having them on the field together to get the best out of this group. We do have a Costa Rica lineup.
Oh, do we?
Because that's obviously the other thing we're watching. It's pretty much what you'd think. It seems like Matarrita got hurt in the last game. If you saw the pictures,
that's a pretty big loss for them.
Yeah, his savage ankle. So Oviedo starts at left wing back. Otherwise, it's the same back five. So Calvo, Waston, Fuller, all of them. Ruiz coming off the bench again for this one. So Borges getting the start in the middle alongside Tejada. Contreras up top again. Joel Campbell on the wing. So it's pretty much the exact same team for Costa Rica, which worrying on the one hand because it's a strong group, but also every team that hasn't rotated has struggled in their third game in this process because this is such a unique setup. So I think for US and Canada fans, I think you're pretty promising that Costa Rica is not really dipping into any sort of depth, which they don't really have.
They can't afford to. I mean, that's the beauty of it, is that to get them in that third game is like any trip to Costa Rica is going to be near impossible. Has been that way forever and ever and ever. But to get them in the third game, to make them have to like expend their resources before, that's if there's going to be an ideal situation, that is it.
The ideal situation is that Canada takes care of business.
Yeah.
The U.S. takes care of business.
That's what I was just about to say.
And El Salvador, Eric Zavaleta, the number one goal scorer on the planet, take care of business today as well. And everyone is qualified. And then I get to go to Costa Rica.
Yeah, Eric can do it on both sides of the ball. Back at Indiana, he was a forward. Come on, Eric.
He scored in the last game. He scored against Jamaica.
Yeah.
We used to laugh when he told us he was a striker.
What did you say?
We used to laugh when he told us he was a striker. I'm like, no way.
That was like the story that year was, will he be a forward or a center back at the next level? And we talked about it forever.
Good guy, though. I'm very close with him. Happy to see him doing well for El Salvador.
Yeah, it's been really cool to see Hugo, to see them bring in players, bring in Roldan, bring in Zavaleta, have them take on sort of leadership positions and start to raise the level a little bit too. I mean, El Salvador went through a lot that was off the field as well, and it continues to go through a lot off the field. So, it's
every MLS team
interesting place to be.
They need a coach in their ranks should be calling Hugo Perez because they've been awesome under him.
Would love to see him in San Jose.
Ooh,
I'm just saying. It seems like that's a spot that could open. I'm just saying.
Really? You don't think
that's a Wiebe hot tip.
Really. Going out on this 8-foot limb right here.
Oh, Tosaint
on this steel. Oh, he's really feeling it. Yeah,
he's on.
He is feeling it, man.
Sorry, Javan.
Yeah. One.
I mean, I just don't think you can't blame Javane. Like the every time they've switched the field and the build up through there, it's been isolation after isolation after isolation. Like he's just in impossible positions.
And Javane's a good 1v1 defender as well. He's hard to beat. There's not many attackers in the MLS that get past him easily. So to see Tosaint do that,
he's got it on a string right now.
That goes down to Canada recognizing where the space is. They have so many numbers and overloading that left-hand side, and that's just good management by the coach and the players.
And you could see Herdman.
Good ball.
Sorry, I was giving the expert.
There we go.
Oh, here it is.
There we go. Let's go.
Mundial, baby. 2-0.
Let's go.
Smell it. Book your flights, folks. Book your flights.
Huge moment for Canada.
Look at the flag.
Tajon cleaning it up at the back post.
Look at the flags.
I love flying. I mean, you don't even have to wave the flag in that wind. Those things are about to get ripped out of people's hands. It is blowing hard.
Well done from Jonathan David, though.
Let's watch the
ball.
Look at
onside. Everybody onside.
Bang.
Yeah, David was off and he dropped off and didn't attempt to play it. A little flick on, right-footed. Tajon bundles it home. That's the back post. That's it. 2-0 Canada. It's not over, but to get that right before halftime, that's probably the That's probably the nail in the coffin, so to
That's a
speak.
clean little finish there.
So do you remember when we were covering the Revs playoff game? Guess who scored the last goal before it went to extra time and penalty kicks? Tosaint Buchanan.
And he just
opposite
threw
side,
down.
peels off to the right, just like he did on that goal. Carbon copy finish from what he did with the Revs.
Decent backflip off that too. How's it feel?
He's a whole new player.
To say we are on the brink, baby. We're on the brink. We don't have to act like
we need one more.
Yeah,
we need
give
one
me
more.
another. Yeah, get another one here.
Over yet?
Just hit fast forward.
Time. Honestly, Jamaica might not be opposed to it.
Ooh. Yeah, Jamaica.
They're like, we don't need to go back out for this.
Has Ravel Morrison been spotted anywhere in this game? I feel like he's just a traffic cone right now.
Yeah, I mean,
have not noticed him.
Canada's been playing through that midfield pretty easily.
Yeah.
Ooh, there we go.
On cue.
Yeah, it's like they win the ball and they can be super vertical through the midfield, and all of a sudden, I mean, then you have that sort of like back five that's just backpedaling. There's so much room to play into, and then you just have a left back for Javane or right back. Just so.
To be honest, though, it could be 5-0
easily.
Oh yeah,
easily.
Maybe add 6.
Yeah. Kyle could have 5 himself at this point.
Wow, what a world! What a world we live in.
It's amazing.
It's really cool. It's really cool. The whole, I mean, Canada's basically the best story. I mean, I'm trying to think of what would be another one. I mean, but they're basically the best story in World Cup qualifying, maybe in international soccer right now.
Yeah.
And that's a really incredible thing.
Late attempt from North Macedonia to try and
it's not over. It's not over yet.
And don't count out the Solomon Islands. All right,
obviously the Solomon
count out the Solomon Islands.
But I would say across the world, I've had people reach out to me being like, "What's going on there?" Like it has been the story across the world of not just hanging around like UAE and Iraq, who are sort of like maybe getting to a playoff to get there. You're talking about Canada just dominating from start to finish in qualifying. Also, Kyle Lahoud scored the first goal in the first game against Bermuda a year and a half ago or whatever it was now. So nice full circle for him.
We got Hacktada saying, hey, Tosaint cannot be a bench player when everyone's healthy.
So who sits?
I mean, I don't know, but I'm like, as a U.S. fan, if I'm drafting attackers out of CONCACAF, I might go 4 off the top for Canada potentially. You know, like it'd be tempted to do so. It's a wealth of talent. It's a wealth of talent. This is 2-0.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah,
it's a good problem to have.
Yeah. Because everyone's never healthy, or people are suspended, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, true.
And you can also base it off matchups, as you guys were talking about earlier, of what's that other team doing? How do you kind of move them around? Tesha Akindele is starting right now for Orlando City. He's not even in this group.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I forgot we were watching that Orlando Portland game. I have to find another screen to fire this one up on.
I'm waiting for the Costa Rica game to come on.
Yeah, in about 7 minutes or so. And even better news, KU basketball just absolutely worked over the Miami Hurricanes in the second half.
Boy, I was waiting for that.
On to the Final Four.
Was waiting for that.
Michael, you went to the game yesterday. Are you a fan of someone, or you just went to the games?
I'm a fan of sports
Free tickets
in my backyard. No. But yeah, actually had to use my credit card for once.
Oh, okay.
I know.
There you go.
The guy's got to
know where
up
it is.
A
sometime.
lot of good KU memories in San Antonio though. Lifted and natty there. So just throwing it up.
I don't know what anyone's talking about.
No, it was awesome just to see the Elite Eight and the Final Four is coming to San Antonio as well in a couple of years. But I love college basketball, and just to be a fan, I think it gets you in that competitive spirit. And like I love being able to step away from soccer to just enjoy another sport, so you can really appreciate the things you love about soccer. So,
speaking of what we appreciate, let's watch this first goal here with the folks on YouTube. Fired up, producing Anders, Kyle Lahoud. I mean, just so much. Again, it came off the left side though, because that's what creates that space and that like overload for Jamaica. They shift over, ball gets to Eustachio, and then he feeds it through. And this is sort of vintage Kyle. Toss. This is what he does.
That's what he does, man. When he gets in those positions, good run, and the weight of the ball is perfect from Eustáquio. So, I mean, he just has to do what he does, and he slots it home nicely.
Tell us your take on Steven Eustáquio. He's really had sort of a star turn in CONCACAF. I think that obviously the quality has been there, but the opportunities he has got his club have obviously leveled up. But what he's done in the octagonal has been really, really impressive.
Yeah, one of those players that has been trying to get for a while, wasn't committed, was one of those fringe players, I guess you call him, but happy he's on board with the program and such an influence for the team. And what I like about him is no matter how he's playing, how he just looks confident. He always wants the ball. He's always asking for the ball. He has that emotion, and he's definitely a key part of this whole successful run.
Toss, question for you: who do you think pairs best with him in the midfield? Is it just straight up Mark Anthony Kaye, or is it dependent on who you're playing?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say what pair works best. They're all very high quality players and that do very well when in the role and when in the position. But, for me, and especially leading up into a big tournament, it's going to be whoever you're playing against. You're going to have to rest players. You're going to have to, have the right balance. So however you're going to do that, if it's Tajon if it's Eustáquio and Atiba, or, if you have, I don't know, there's just so many options that I think it's a good problem to have.
You think Atiba plays my mind here?
I'm gonna go get a beer. By the way, I'll be right back. Okay. After Pat was like, I just been thinking about it for like the last 20 minutes. I'll be right back.
Do you think Atiba plays till he's 50?
I would love to see it.
I would love to see it. What's he waiting for at this point? He's clearly not getting. Nothing's changing, right? And he's still doing his thing, both club and country.
Honestly, just keep going. As long as he can, keep playing, keep being that leader, keep being that voice, and keep inspiring, because he makes me want to play till as long as I can. If I'm seeing Atiba bow out at 32, 33, who knows if I'm still playing today,
So here's the question underneath us. Yvonne in the chat says, hoping they bring Atiba to Qatar, which is 100% happening. What do you think they can do? So one thing to watch out for, and I don't have any of the updates on this, and I don't understand any of the math, is Canada is still fighting to get in pot 3 here for a potential draw, being, I think, 37th in the world or 33rd in the world right now. And a lot of that depends on if North Macedonia makes the World Cup. There goes 2 teams that you thought would be ahead of you. The U.S. sort of watching that as well for pot 1. But, Tos, what do you think of this group going up against, I don't know, a Germany, an Argentina, all of those at a World Cup?
Wow.
I just know that there's not many teams that can hang with Canada in terms of athleticism, speed, power. Like, Canadians are very athletic, and this group is very athletic, and they have the skill, soccer IQ, and just sheer capabilities to make something happen. And I think, Tajon running at the fullbacks of Germany is no different than him running at the fullbacks of Jamaica. He's still going to be fearless. He's still going to be doing his step overs, and that's hard for any defender to handle.
I think this team is set up to play against quote unquote good teams. Yeah. Right? Like for Canada to be able to sit in a block and hit in transition, all the things Canada can do well. I think that on a nice field, for a World Cup in a clean atmosphere, there's no like long grass or weird weather, that stuff. I just think this is a team that's tournament made.
So here's a perspective for you as well, because I'm all like getting jacked up about Canada potential. So United States 2002, they go to Korea, Japan, shock the world, beat Portugal, make it to the quarterfinals. The world takes notice of the U.S. in soccer. 2006, they get drawn in a pool, and the world takes definite notice because now they change how they prepare. They take the U.S. a little bit more serious.
Don't get us on there already, Michael. Don't already.
Talk about
Play devil's
2026
advocate.
now or what?
Play devil's advocate.
I just don't think anybody's going to be looking past this Canada team.
They will be in the group of death because they will be
Because
the
they'll
team
make
that
it.
causes
Yeah,
that.
they'll
That's
make it
what
to group of death.
That's what Michael was saying. Like 0206, the U.S. and 14 every time, and it was like because the U.S. was the team out of CONCACAF you didn't want to play, and the team in their pot that you didn't want to play, and Canada will be that. I mean, if they're in pot 4, 1,000%.
Yeah.
But even in pot 3, right? You're
Even
going
in
to
pot
look
3.
at 2 big teams, and then you're going to look at Canada as well, and whoever else gets in there, and everyone is going to say that's the hardest group because of Canada's existence in that group, which sucks, but also like, why not, right? Beat Portugal in the first game, and then you do your thing from there, which is what happened in 02.
Yeah.
Michael Lahoud's already got them as the favorites.
Let's go.
Everyone's
You know me. I get, pun intended, all messed up about certain teams. So I felt like parachute just kind of pulled a little bit of like, wait a second.
What do you think the World Cup's going to be like in Canada, Tosaint?
I mean, I have no clue, to be honest.
That's fair.
just hope
That's true.
that-
Unprecedented.
Like we've never really experienced like this type of situation, like where the whole country is really on board and seeing the success and buying in and really giving these players the attention that they deserve across the entire nation. So I just know that there's just being Canada, how multicultural it is, the type of people we have here, it's gonna be massive. It's gonna be huge.
So that one's interesting to me. Is the ratings have gone through the roof for this Canada team. Obviously, people are watching their success. Is the fight that you want an Italian Canadian and an Argentine Canadian and Haitian Canadian, whatever, to root for this Canada team as number one, or just also root for them because they haven't in the past? Sort of what's the fight for the heart and the spirit there?
I mean, you can't expect them to give up. Like me, my parents are Jamaican. I see Jamaica at the bottom of the table. I feel bad for the position they're in. I want them to do well, but Canada made me who I am. I was born in Canada. I've obviously did my time with the program and put in that sweat equity, but I'm hoping a dual supportership. When Italy's not playing, Canada's your team that day. When Canada's not playing, right, Italy's your team that day, if that's your dual citizenship or that's the way your makeup is. But that's what I'm hoping for, and that's what I expect for everyone.
I just want to quickly say, I love what you said. 2 things come to mind. That sounds like an 8-bar set on an OV Productions, lyric track. What you said, Canada made me. And 2, you definitely sound like you're well on your way towards being a future GM, because that just resonates with me so much.
Thanks,
I think I'm going to be feeling that, to be honest with you. Like, and at the World Cup, whether it be Costa Rica or Panama or whoever the third CONCACAF team has been, I've always rooted for them, but it hasn't been sort of like I desperately want them to do well. It's you're happy with other teams in your region showing well because it shows well in the region. Never have felt that for Mexico, straight up. Always have been happy to see them have hard times and pain. But I truly do feel like, whether it be because of what we do, where we're thinking about North America as a whole a lot, and my allegiances are obviously still with the U.S., but to have been sort of witness to the growth pattern of Canada, and then have to work and enjoy and be invested in these moments, and to feel them and to see what it brings you and Pat and other people that we work with and know, like I will be like 1B Canada fan in Qatar, no doubt about that. I take that back. I hope I will be 1B. Otherwise, I'll just be number 1. Like, we got to get there first, obviously. Yeah. But yeah, man, I'm gonna be watching all those games, yelling at the TV, feeling like invested, rooting for those players. 1, because of what you guys have accomplished, the story that you have, but 2, because so many of these players have kind of formative places in my soccer life, whether it be Kyle in Orlando City. I was at the table with Orlando City at the draft when they drafted Kyle Larin. Like, I was behind the scenes with them sitting at their draft table, and I remember what they said. And they, Adrian Heath was like, "This guy's the best player in the draft. We think this guy could be the best striker in Major League Soccer." And when you hear that at the Super Draft, you kind of dismiss it. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was sort of like,
eh.
yeah, no, for sure, best
Sure,
striker
buddy.
in the best striker in the league. But like,
Sounds like something Adrian Heath would say.
yeah, but he wasn't wrong. Like you said this earlier. It's like he came into Orlando as a young man on an expansion team. We know how difficult that is, and was dominant. And that was sort of an indication of where it was going, whether it be covering Tajon being drafted coming up. Alphonso Davies. Dave and I were in D.C. for the opening of Audi Field when Alphonso did just the most ridiculous, like 1v1, get on your left foot, curl it in, look, I'm special, watch me moment. Like it just, even from afar, even without sort of that sweat equity that you mentioned, it's hard not to root for this team. It truly is like a universal story for a lot of people to just say, hey, even if they're not mine, I want them to be. Like, that's how cool this is. That's how special this is. And I'm going to be on the bandwagon. There's no doubt about it. Here in Kansas City, I'm not Canadian, but where are my Canadians at? Where are we watching? You know?
Over here.
Yeah, where are we watching? Like, there's like 20 of us. We're doing it here.
The one thing that I love, which obviously I'm not Canadian, being American though, and I know it's very similar. And Tosaint, you've spoken about it a bit. Michael, you've lived it. Like, I think to have an Eustachio and a Jonathan David and guys like that who are major parts of the team who also have that dual citizenship or the dual backgrounds and are proudly Haitian Canadian and proudly Liberian, Canadian and Portuguese Canadian, I think sort of gives that example for other people to be like, yeah, I can be an Italy fan and a Canada fan. Like, these guys are doing it. And I think that's been what's really cool about seeing this team and the role models they are, and also then sort of growing the sport in the country through that. It's always been the history, I think, for the sport for, in the US and Canada, just because of the nature of the global game. But I feel like now we're starting to see two programs that have, it feels like, accepted that even better and helping promote that part about them and that side.
And not just accepted it, but like that's what makes them strong, right? Like that's the basis of strength, and that is really cool. That is really cool too. So yeah, man, it's halftime. We got another 45 minutes just to like.
Hey, they just showed Canada coming out of that tunnel at BMO. What did Josie and Michael say to each other? Or sorry, to Jesse?
Sasha, yeah. What did they say?
Oh, Sasha,
yeah.
You want to? Oh yeah, the little tunnel fight.
Yeah.
It does get a little tight. It does get pretty tight when you go through those two doors. Having been in that tunnel before, like if you're all trying to get through the choke point at the same time.
Yeah, you're definitely bumping shoulders, whether you like it or not. But like, with the dark lights and the red, it just like it feels like when you step in that tunnel, it's a fight. Even if things are good, like anything could pop off. You're looking over your shoulder in there.
You got daps coming
so
in.
Many little scuffles in there,
choking each other coming out. Like,
speaking of scuffles, I think my dogs are scuffling. Let me go back, grab a beer, and make sure they're okay.
Yeah, there you go. Get yourself a little advice for you, Michael. Get yourself a glass. Pour the beer into the glass. There you go.
I will be right back.
I'm helping you out. Everybody's drinking Heinekens. That's the way it is. I'm sure Pat Onstad just slamming Heinekens right now, having a good time. It was cool to chat with Pat, and it's interesting to get like the different generations for you guys, Toss, of like these just different iterations of guys that have all pushed the same sled that can now look to see like, okay, we're part of this process. We're partially why we're here. Like when you see people that are of those different generations, what do you think? Like, did you watch Pat Onstad playing goal back in the day? Like,
yeah, I mean, definitely watched him, but I kind of feel like I'm the middle generation here. Like we have the young cats, the guys that you see now, really, really carrying the torch, and then you have the Pat Onstads and the Craig Forrest and Dasoviches, like he mentioned, and then you have my group kind of stuck in the middle where I've played with a lot of these players, but I have a lot of experiences with Pat and just meeting him and being coached by Dasovich and playing with that older kind of generation that was just transitioning out when I came in. So, I think I got the best of both worlds where I can learn from those guys before me and definitely be proud and inspired from these guys that are doing it right now.
Who do you remember of this group when who stood out when they came into camp in your days?
D-Ro and Dwayne DiRosario. He was my roommate. He taught me a lot about diet and just the importance of being a professional and how to how to get that longevity, what to eat, what to do, what not to do.
So are you
he was
vegan?
somebody I looked up to. No, I couldn't quite take it that far. But I did eat a lot of his nuts and a lot of his things that he had in his room, because he's always had these good snacks, all healthy snacks. He doesn't eat no bottom feeders. He says, like, he's very ITEL, what we say in Jamaica. He has an ITEL way of living.
No bottom feeders, man. I'm gonna have to inspect my diet here and just be on the okay, what am I eating? Am I the bottom feeder?
D-Row is being secretly Jewish. That's the kosher rules. That's what he was doing. Everyone knows that. Come on, man. That's what helped D-Row ball out.
Yeah, and then play for a very long time.
Oh yeah, we're trying to get maybe World Cup time, or maybe even on the 30th. We're trying to get Dwayne on these watch-alongs to get some stories out of him as well. I honestly think, having done a lot of different things in this little soccer sphere over the years, I think maybe these watch-alongs are my favorite thing to do, because you have Kyle Larin along the. Oh, come on! No! You were there. Just sell out. Oh, it's like he didn't see it coming across. He couldn't get the timing. Kyle Larin
was straightish ball, but like
left channel. Tosaint in front of net. That was the third. Again, which side of the field is coming from? To left. Left side.
All right.
By the way, Costa Rica, El Salvador has kicked off. El Salvador tried to gift Costa Rica a goal in the opening 2 minutes. So I'll keep you guys updated. Don't worry.
I'm gonna go ahead and switch my my TV onto that one too.
Yep.
Get multiple screens going. Man. Yes, we have Michael Brown says, guys, the 2026 World Cup hosted by the top 3 CONCACAF teams. Does that reduce the other CONCACAF teams qualifying for the World Cup? It is not. I don't believe you have the official rules out, or the official berths out yet. I know that Victor Montagliani has said recently that he'd like to see up to 8 CONCACAF teams in that 2026 World Cup. That would be the 3 auto qualifiers, 3 more qualifiers, and then 2 playoff participants. So that's the up to 8. I believe if his plans would be correct, that would mean that.
Oh my God!
It is. Come on, it's got to be. It can't. It's got to be. How many opportunities have there been?
So many.
But look at this touch by Larin. Boom! Right there, gone. Oh, jeez. You know what? I'm drinking to that.
Yeah.
Am I behind now?
Better hit that live. We just
hit
tables have turned. Tables have turned.
Come on.
I think one thing's certain: there's going to be more goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is.
Dang.
Wiebe, the other thing which you didn't say is it's all because the expectation is that the 2026 World Cup will have 48 teams.
Correct.
Not 32.
Yeah.
So
That's
the expansion allows more teams to get in. If it was a 32-team World Cup, I don't even know what they would have done. 3 auto qualifiers.
If it was a 32, and you have 3 automatically in, and then you're really just talking about.
I don't know that you'd have 3 automatically in.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You'd already you do have 3 automatically in, because Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. would already be.
I don't know that they would do it. That's what I'm saying.
But no,
we have no
that's
proof
part
of it.
That's part of. I feel like that's just like. I guess it's unprecedented to have it in 3 countries.
Yeah. I mean, if you have 32
I just
teams
assumed
and you have
that it
3
would
in
be
automatically, that's a massive percentage of the teams that
even
not in
8 of
qualifying.
48 is that's a near fit. That's a huge proportion out of CONCACAF.
But that's with playoffs, so that's
Right,
not
right.
unfair because every other region has the opportunity to get those spots. We'll see how Curacao and Suriname do in the playoffs. Michael, what do you think about the expansion playing in a region that I think Africa clearly is the least represented for quality and for amount of national teams? What do you make of, thank God, the potential for more teams to get in?
I'm excited for it, and you took the words right out of my mouth. I think 2 regions that benefit tremendously, CONCACAF being one, but Africa being one, having covered and played in World Cup qualifiers in Africa and now covering it on the broadcast side and media side, it is one of the most dramatic affairs. If you think AFCON is drama, the World Cup playoffs, you've seen Egypt win an AFCON and go to Ghana and get smacked 6-1 in the blink of an eye. So the world, if there's more spots opened up, the world will get to live and breathe and really be a part of that drama that takes place, that I think a lot of Africans get to enjoy for their benefit or for their nightmares if your team is one of the teams that don't qualify.
I think the 32 teams to me has been almost perfect, of like every team can compete, every team deserves to be there, but the expansion of qualifying, dropping it down for teams that maybe countries that have just never been close to now be in that conversation like you talked about. I think that's really exciting, just to like have more of the world be involved for longer, have the potential. I think you saw it with the Euro expansion. Like, I don't want to watch Northern Ireland play soccer ever, but like their fans got to watch their team in a tournament and like get involved in qualifying this match.
Hey,
I don't know. Someone had to take a stray there. I had to pay one.
My uncle, of all people, he lives in Belfast, so he's going to take that.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. There you go.
Didn't know.
Yeah, tell him to come find me. Tell him I live in Kansas City, Missouri. Anytime he wants to stop by.
Yes, in the basement in Kansas City.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's look for a
Just look for the Wichita Wings flag out front.
There you go.
And I'm pretty sure El Salvador's captain and best player, Roberto Dominguez, just went off with an injury to start their center back. So the U.S. will be waiting, I think, a few more days for this one. Ooh, Milan.
Oh, you.
Milan's had like one moment this time. Hasn't had much.
He always has one a game. He has to.
Oh, look at that hair. Liking it.
Yeah. All right. You guys have all taken leave. I'm going to go for a moment and be back.
Yeah. I had to go get the beer.
Yeah. Actually,
I mean, if it's a celebration here, what happens after this game? The whistle blows. I mean, you're still a professional soccer player here, so you might have training or something that you have to go do. Like, how do you celebrate this in the
We
moment?
actually have the day off tomorrow, so
oh, coach.
Good timing. Vanny, you're a legend.
credit to Vanny.
Yeah, you're a legend.
Here's a question for you. How was that transition to Vanny taking over as a player? How was that for you to play under him?
I mean, for me, I've been in so many different environments where, there's been coaching changes and even GMs, presidents being changed on the fly and in the middle of the season. But Vanny was the assistant coach before in 2020, I think it was. So the group is used to him. The core of the group is used to him. We know, how he is as a person. We know how he is tactically and his ideas of how he wants the culture to be. So the transition from Mark DeSantos to Vanny Sartini was fairly easy for the group. It wasn't like a big shock. And, he's such a genuine person with a lot of passion and a good heart. So he's hard not to love. And he's, the organization and the group of players have really taken a liking to him. So it's been good. It's been good. And you've seen how we finished last season. We were flying towards the end of the season. So there's definitely something within this group.
What do you credit for that? I felt like it was building a little bit before Mark left, and then it just sort of like exploded.
Yeah, definitely. Ryan Gold getting a quality number 10 into the fold really helped our group, just creating more chances and being that connection, that connected piece. But outside of that, just the continuity of the group. We have a strong mentality that we're not fighting for our own individual goals, our own individual things. We're fighting for each other, and we have a strong brotherhood similar to what you see with this national team group. And, a lot of humble, good guys, honest workers, and guys ready to put in a shift every day for their teammates and for their brothers around them. So definitely a strong mentality through the group.
I can't believe I've gone this far without saying Andiamo, but tell me what it's like to be in a locker room with Vanny when he's just like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like he goes into a different part of himself, and he is.
His eyes just kind of gets a little crooked eye, and then
jacked up. Like it's like he's pounding. He's like, okay, well, I just drank an entire coffee pot of espresso. Like, let's do this thing.
Like that. That's him. Like 8 a.m. get the training. That's him. Leave at whatever 8 p.m. That's still him. Like that's him all the time. And but it's good for a group, especially a young group, to have somebody that can motivate and give that energy and be that boost in the locker room. You know, it's nice to have in a head coach, but he's pacing nonstop. He's just burning tracks all over the dressing room, along the sideline. He's, you know, but great guy, great character, and big heart.
Can we get the Michael Baldissimo scouting report? When are we going to see him in a Canada jersey? What are we waiting for right now?
I mean, just young players, man. You know, they need time. They need to play. You know, that's crucial. I mean, as you've seen with this group, the players that really excelled and pushed through were the players that were getting quality minutes. You know, week in and week out. You know, for me, it's the only way to truly grow as a player and truly take the next step is to get quality minutes. So for him, that's the next step in his career.
When sometimes he's on the ball and it's like Eustachio-esque. He's so clean in possession, but
he has a wand. Like he can both feet.
That's awesome.
Like, cause I'm with him in training. He's just slinging balls everywhere. Like his range of passing is so. It's special. It's definitely his asset, and he has a lot of capability. So,
Gus, question for you, and Toss, you can chime in on this. When you said Eustachio-esque, do you think after this game is that going to be added to the Canadian Webster's dictionary, or what's the over/under on that?
I think it should already be in there.
Well, that's a World Cup marketing campaign right there.
Yeah, that might be.
You know, you have like the commercial where the guy like, oh, he's like ball out of nowhere, like first touch, and he's like, oh, Eustachio-esque, massive, you know, whatever it might be, whatever big brand, then tack onto the backside of it.
Yeah,
I'm looking at your. I knew that your career took you a lot of different places, but I'm looking at your Wikipedia page right now, man. You have seen the world. You have been
definitely
all over. How would you in this sort of part of your career describe everything that you went through to get to this point?
A journey. But a journey of learning. You know, I've learned so much being a part of all these different teams, all these different environments, seeing how, you know, what works, what doesn't work, you know, going through my own struggles with contracts and payment and, you know, just the random things you experience playing in Turkey and Israel and all these different countries. But that's why I have this passion for taking the next step and transitioning into the front office, because through these experiences, I have a good grasp of what a solid environment looks and should feel like from a player's standpoint. And that's just not from my own personal opinion. Being a Canadian Jamaican, I know how to align with Turkish players. You know, I know how to align with a lot of different cultures that you may see in the dressing room and make them feel comfortable quickly, which helps them on the pitch. Because in a lot of these countries I played in, nobody really took the extra step to make me feel comfortable. So I had to kind of figure it out on my own and, get in the right mindset to perform. So I feel like the next stage of my career, I can really help with the environment and really getting these players comfortable quickly and acclimated.
What's the stop outside of Toronto FC, which was of course a wonderful one, I'm sure, for you, that you look back on with the most fondness?
Wow. I enjoyed my time in Israel. I wasn't playing as a striker there. I was playing as a right back, but, you know, I did very well. But just the country in general, I lived on the beach. The weather was great. It felt like I was like living in like at a vacation the whole entire time outside of soccer. So it was one of the first countries I got to play in that was just, you know, summer all year round and living on a beach. So in terms of just like
not
off
Lithuania
the field,
in the winter.
Oh my God!
Let's say Finland. Finland could, you were in Norway a couple times too.
Wow.
Like seemed like though after you
Lithuania
left Scandinavia and got to like Turkey and Israel, you're like, keep it warm until I get back to Toronto.
Yeah, definitely. Lithuania was a grind, but definitely learned a lot there too, and had to dig deep to, you know, perform and you know, prove that I can be back in MLS and back with the Whitecaps, I guess.
What's the thing that stands out the most to you about like how you make players comfortable, how you integrate players, how you Like, what's the thing that sort of is your North Star as you approach this next journey at some point, whenever the playing side is done?
I mean, one of the biggest is language barrier. Just being able to speak to a player and just, see what he wants, see what he needs, and, basically fulfill those needs is huge. A lot of the time it's simple things that get overlooked. And even just to add, just knowing the religion of players and what they value and what they believe in and how much family means to them is different than, here, just taking the extra step to make sure that, their wives' visas are secured and, they're able to bring their family once in a while. I'm just speaking about broad things. There's so many little things along the way that just makes a player feel more comfortable and makes them, and then as a result, it makes them perform better,
I just want to chime in really quick. Something that just made me feel more comfortable is my Wake Forest guy. You knew it was coming. Alistair Johnson is about to step on the field, and now I can breathe a sigh of relief.
Well, Atiba just got on as well, and he just got the armband.
And he got a crowd. He got a really good cheer from the crowd. Yeah. Kyle did as well on the way off. He's got one more game now to be the Golden Boot winner around the world.
And we need him, and we would like him to do that, please, against Panama. If you could, Kyle, please continue on that track. Don't stop.
Toss, you don't have to speak for someone else, but I'm just curious what you've seen from Cavallini working with him and sort of what he's like as a player, because there's moments where he's unstoppable, but obviously it's been a little rough for him at times with Vancouver the last year.
Yeah, I mean, when he first came in, we didn't have that number 10 in Ryan Gold, which is difficult for any striker and all strikers through the Whitecaps, over the last few years. But and then he got the injury going into the late end of last season, and was kind of rushing it back for whatever reasons, and wasn't 100% towards the end of the season. But this season, you've seen he's healthy. And, he has that determination, that work ethic, that grind. He's working harder than anyone on the pitch, taking a lot of hits, giving out hits. And you can't fault him for his
El Tanque.
His work. Yeah, he's definitely a wrecking ball in there. But like all strikers, confidence is big. So, you'll see one goal go in, and then next, it's 2, 3, 4, and then he can't be stopped. So I think it's a little bit of that with Cavallini, and being his teammate and seeing him day in and day out. He's a great guy, has all the great intentions, and a good teammate. So, I'm fully confident that he'll get back to where he needs to be.
Can we get a 9 on loan or something? The U.S. we need to. We just take some we'll take a flyer on IO. You guys are going 5-6 deep, and we're just well, we don't know. We
hope scoring goals in France right now.
Yeah,
and we can't even get someone on the field who plays the position.
Dang.
I'm being texted from people in the stadium who said the whole crowd's just chanting Atiba over and over again. So I'd love to hear that.
What role do you think he'll play in Canadian soccer if his playing career ever ends? I'm never going to put a win on that dude because
and after his period as Prime Minister of Turkey or Mayor of Istanbul,
head of Besiktas, whatever it might be.
Yeah,
I mean, he's definitely going to have a statue in Turkey somewhere in Istanbul. That's for sure. He's a legend there. Everyone loves him. But I have been sending him little North Vancouver locations here.
A couple Zillow.
Maybe not as a player, but I'm saying if you ever end soccer and you want to live somewhere and maybe,
it's a beautiful place, man. It's
a beautiful place.
The real estate market, I hear, is a little out of control, but beautiful. Where is it not? Where is it not? But
Atiba can afford it.
Yeah, that's one of the places that I have not yet been in MLS. There are very few at this point. And Dave, I think
really
neither of us have been to Vancouver.
I've never been to the city of Vancouver.
Yeah, that's one of the things we need.
2 markets in 3 markets in MLS I've never been to. Cincinnati,
I wish I could show you my view right now. I don't know if you guys would be able to see it.
I can feel the
Yeah, we can
sunlight
sense the
trickling in
mountains
through the window.
and the water
Yeah.
already.
Yeah,
The air feels
definitely.
fresh through through the screen. To be honest
Yeah.
with you, the Pacific Northwest is incredible, and I just can't imagine everything I've ever seen in BC has just been just kind of otherworldly, like almost unbelievable, in the scale and the degree of beauty. So someday,
There's a really cool
It's
piece.
definitely a beautiful city.
There's a really cool piece. If anyone listening doesn't subscribe to The Athletic, which you should because they cover the region pretty well, Josh Clokey wrote a good piece about Atiba while he was opening up a facility in Brampton for kids to play at. So he built a couple fields and went for the opening and sort of just talked about his whole career arc with Canada. And, you know, in it, there's parts where he's walking around and people still don't recognize him, which is ridiculous to hear. But I think he also enjoys it at the same time. Because in the story, his
not like that in Turkey for him, I'm sure.
Well,
No.
In the story, his brother lands at the Istanbul airport and security thinks it's Atiba. And they start asking him for autographs and they take him through another exit. Like he gets the full VIP treatment. It's not Atiba. And he's like, I didn't want to tell them, let them enjoy it.
So you've played a good amount in Turkey. What is the Turkish soccer culture like, and what's Atiba's place in it?
I mean, the culture is passionate, like fanatic. Their ultras there, like to the point where, you don't want your kids in anywhere near the ultra section because it gets dangerous. So definitely a strong soccer culture there, strong football culture there, and Atiba to Besiktas, he's. Like I said, he's going to have a statue built of him. He's a legend there. They call him King Ati. And, just his time in general, like to spend that much time at any Turkish club is a great accomplishment and a credit to like his ability and what he means to that club.
This is, what's beautiful?
Turkish clubs are volatile.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's not a lot of that comes with the passion too. People they demand results, and if you're not getting the result they think you should get, then it's time to make a move. We see that. I mean, you see that down in Mexico too with the turnover with managers and things like that. But it's incredible that we're 68 minutes into what is like a World Cup qualifier for Canada, and we're out here talking about like Turkish soccer culture because it's that comfortable right now. It's that comfortable for Canada to finish this thing off. What would you want from the rest of this game, Toss? Just as like a gift to Canadians. Who scores? How do they score it? Like, what would make this the perfect sort of cap on a successful and historic World Cup qualifying process for this team?
One more goal, hopefully on a set piece. Atiba gets up there, buries it in, and 3-0 in any soccer match is a domination. Or Orsario, because he's at home,
nice.
In front of his fans in his stadium, to get a goal as well. So I'll take either one of those two.
That's double. That's Brampton times 2 right there, huh?
Yeah.
We've already got Kyle with one. The neighborhood is representing.
As a non-Brampton guy, how annoying is it when all the Brampton guys talk about it all the time? Tosaint.
I mean, I was born in Edmonton, but yeah.
That's what I'm saying. As a non-Brampton guy, does it become a lot as all the other guys are talking about it all the time? It feels like that's their number one thing.
No, they can have it, man. Okay. Let them have it. Let them have it. No, they're performing. Obviously, a lot of good players coming out of that region, but hey, maybe they were ahead of the ball in terms of grassroots and what they were doing, a few years back. So that's very important in this whole process is the grassroots, getting those kids in the right environments. And maybe clearly Brampton was doing something different than the rest of the regions.
I mean, they got you and Fonzie in Edmonton. Edmonton doesn't, not lacking for some ballers.
Yeah, we got a little something there.
What place is Alfonso like a superstar in Edmonton? What's his place in Canada right now?
No, I mean, megastar, right?
Yeah.
He's one of the biggest Canadian athletes right now around. I can't think who is much bigger. Obviously, you have the hockey players and stuff like that, but he's definitely in the conversation as biggest Canadian, most popular Canadian athlete. And that's what he deserves with what he's done, you know, in his young career and what he's done at Bayern, winning so many trophies, you know, basically paving the way for everyone else going to Europe. Yeah, megastar.
Ooh. Come on.
Costa Rica goal.
Oh.
No.
Not what we want. Not exactly what we want here.
So when you talk about megastars, Tuss, say you're a Canadian national team player and you roll into Vancouver, the nicest restaurant. What's the nicest restaurant in downtown Vancouver? Just
Oh my God.
Black and
By the
blue.
way-
Gotham Steakhouse.
Gotham Steakhouse. So you
By
roll in.
By the way, this is
just-
a full bike.
Yeah, full bike kick.
Full bike goal.
Oh my gosh.
What a goal
Hold
that is.
Hold that thought.
Is that Oviedo?
I can't tell. I'm like watching
Yeah, I
it
think-
pass my lights in front of me, so I'm having a little bit of. No, it's
no,
Contreras. Yeah, it's Contreras.
Yeah.
But Kendall Waston all the way up in the final third, playing the ball across the box, which I don't know how he got up there, but
I think it was a set piece.
No, to finish up that thought, you roll into Gotham Steakhouse. You just qualified for the World Cup. You're on the Canadian national team. Do the hockey players who typically are the sports celebrities in Canada, do they give you some love? They give you some dap and say, hey, you're with the big boys now. Are they giving Canadian soccer some love?
oh my god!
Uh-oh.
Oh,
I would hope.
go El Salvador!
hope
Let's
so.
go! Let's go! El Salvador goal! Oh, big
Oh,
time
boy.
response.
Next
Big
5
time
minutes,
response.
man. They always
It took
say
like
it.
it was
Next
back
5.
and like bap, 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 bap. I mean, all those hockey guys are playing. They're juggling before games. Like, I don't know how much they love the game, but they certainly love to touch the ball. There's no doubt about that.
I mean, it's only a matter of time, right? Soccer is the biggest sport in the world. It's only a matter of time before, you know, the same effect happens here in North America, in my opinion.
I agree.
Even when you score against Kaler, by the way, he still gets
Yeah,
a huge touch on the ball and makes it impossible.
He was. That's a huge goal.
Oh, they're showing the goal right now.
Oh, what a turnaround! Sometimes you need a little bit of luck, man, and like knocking it off Kaler and have it pop up, 20 feet in the air and with top spin and go underneath the bar. We will take that luck. Obviously, I'm way behind here because oh my god, but that
That's
bike
ridiculous.
is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Ping.
I've never understood
Wow.
people who their natural instinct when a ball's in the air is to flip themselves over. Like Ronaldinho used to go do it every time, and it was like, how do you even think to do it and then physically carry it out?
You got any
is absurd
bike
as well.
goals in your life, Toss? Is that in your bag? Are you a guy that goes for the bike, or are you like, I'm gonna try to bring this one down?
I think I've attempted it probably about 5 or 6 times. One time came close, but never had a bike goal.
Michael?
And one time I got my second yellow and got a red card. for
What?
I
Yeah.
think that was my last time.
So
That's like the Gordie
Dangerous
Howe.
play?
Dangerous play. Like it was Aha, what's his first name? Used to play on Orlando City.
Yeah,
Spanish
Oh, yeah,
player.
Jose Aha.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did the bike, and he pretended like I hit him in the face. Didn't hit him. Got my second yellow against Orlando at BMO Field. Yeah,
So
no more of that.
I have a story about a bike. It wasn't a goal,
Ooh.
but I've joined that club with you, Tuss. So we were playing, it was Philadelphia versus Colorado, and we were having one of our Mazy Open Cup runs on one side and torrid time during the league on the other. And we were just picking up some steam in the league. I'm on the field playing internationally for Sierra Leone, so I'm feeling myself. Confidence is brimming, and in my own mind, I'm having the match of the century, pinging balls, slipping balls through, fans singing. No, fans weren't singing my name.
So this was Mike Lahoud, not Michael. This was
This is my yeah. Yeah. This is the past life. And ball comes in the box, and I have no clue what I'm thinking. Russia blood to the head. I go for a bike and smash Darren Maddox in the head. Straight red. Fans are booing. And I'm like, no, this is not how it's supposed to go. No. So that.
Oh man,
yeah.
I just love all the drops here. Like as a long time MLS fan, getting like the Jose Aja drop, getting the Darren Maddox drop. Like who are the best? The 5 best strikers of all time.
The greatest moment in the history of the show that me and Andrew host Extra Time was Darren Maddox got stuck in the elevator one time and was tweeting in Vancouver to get out. And Simon Borg, who used to host the show with us, thought it was the greatest moment in the history of the sport. And he talked about it forever. So shout out to
Those
Darren
early Twitter uses of like, hey, I'm stuck in an elevator here. It's like, isn't there a phone number on the inside of the elevator somewhere? Like, it's so funny, man. So funny.
So speaking of shout outs, big shout out to Jonathan Osorio. He just got off the field and just got a big hug from his manager. So it seemed like an emotional moment, rightfully so, between the two of them.
I talked to him about this one time, but at TFC, they brought in a midfielder to replace him every year. And he beat that player out every single year. I love Oso. I love what he's become as a player. 2017 MLS Cup. He hadn't really been a full-time starter yet, and it was one of the best games I've ever seen him play, and he always elevates the big moments. So, as you said, it's awesome to see him do his thing. He's gonna be the first one to beat the drum. You know that. He's always the first one on the drum after the game.
What was that period like? You were there designed like the golden era, like when you guys were you were it. What was that like to be a part of that, part of something so much bigger?
Some of the best moments of my career. We felt like we were untouchable, from losing in 2016, the whole build up, making it to the finals there, coming in the next year and wanting to prove that we deserved to win that MLS Cup. The whole group felt untouchable. Like we could not lose. And, good group of guys, a lot of mature, older guys, and guys that were ready to have that moment. So, I mean, I think back and just watching this game at BMO, very special times and some of the best of my career.
So after this Canada game, which player is going to be able to live up to the Josie Altidore parade speech? Who's going to give us who's going to get the vibes just right? Danielle? Yeah, that's a good 100%. One. Yeah, he'll enjoy it. We still have that as I'm going to cook up something nice for you in our intro to the podcast, because it was I just remember watching that thing live on the stream and being like, oh my God, nobody take the mic from this man. Like, let him go for as long as humanly possible. Whatever he wants to say, allow him to say it, because there's never been a better moment in the history of speeches than this. Like, some are just idiotic. His was just like giddy, creative, a little bit drunk, like just all the, it's like being out on night on the town and somebody's like does the toast and it's like everybody's like, yeah, we're about to run through a wall right now. This is the best. God, it was wonderful. It was so good.
To be clear, I was at the parade when it happened, and I saw him walk over to the mic, and I looked around, and I ID'd every person, PR, whatever, that would have stepped in, and saw how far away they were. And I turned to my producer and was like, I don't know what's about to happen. Because it was this moment of everyone else was doing something else, and Josie just came over and picked up the mic, and it was like, okay, we're all in for this one. And he, as we said, he nailed it.
Yeah, he absolutely nailed it. So 10 minutes on the countdown here. How do you feel? Toss, like, what's going through your mind right now? What's going through your heart? Like, does it feel like you thought it might feel? Does it feel like we knew it was happening and now this is just the culmination?
I mean, just from the whole run, you felt like it was coming. I just want to see how the whole country reacts to it.
Come on. Oh,
I know.
Lucas.
I just seen it.
He's trying not to ruin it for us now. He just
score.
Yeah,
what a ball.
We're just waiting. We'll know when Tosaint gets just out of his mind.
How did Kugbe with that ball?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, he's had a huge game.
He's had a monster.
His entry balls this entire game have been on the money. He had
been this way all qualifying.
Like, he had like 6 cutbacks onto the right foot in the right timing in the right space that they just have not been able to finish for whatever reason.
But that, I love that you're describing that and pointing that out, because I think so many times when you see players of color, especially outside backs, the focal point becomes on their athleticism. He can get up and down, but this guy can do much more than just run. And he's showing that today. So many of their attacks are coming off his foot on that side. It's fun to watch.
I still think maybe the most iconic moment of the entire cycle for Canada is Sam like dive bombing into the like hip checking the snow. That was just such a perfect moment of joy and of like, oh, I've played in conditions like these. I know I've seen a snowdrift like this. Like I'm oh, did you see this?
Sorry, it was almost 2-1 El Salvador.
Oh,
Don't even. You guys can just.
It said. I wish Adekube, just selfishly, because it's my job to watch MLS teams play every single week. I wish he was still in the league. I wish he was. It just felt like maybe the timing for him in Vancouver just didn't quite work out of like where he was in his career, what he needed, what they were looking for. But it's awesome to see guys leave and then thrive and come back in CONCACAF and do special things.
Well,
Here it is.
Whoa,
now we get to watch. Come on.
Is it good?
I don't even know if it's going to be a goal now.
Bang.
Hey! See, this is
sorry. Next one I will.
No, yeah, you gotta let it fly, man. You gotta let it go.
It's over, baby. It's over.
Yeah.
That's it. Going to the World Cup.
I'm taking the cup.
Going to the World Cup. There's her.
Nice. Someone brought a World Cup trophy.
I know. I said
move.
that one looks legit. It's not like a tin. You know, you'd think maybe they made it with like some saran wrap or something. No, that looks like somebody stole that thing and took it to Canada.
Let's go.
Little set piece in, not
Oh,
cleared
Tosaint.
well. Was that Ravel?
Yeah.
And yeah, just no pressure.
What
That
type
is
of defending is that? Yikes.
There's no pressure, but that finish is dirty.
Yeah.
Did he toe poke it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Ah,
Nice. Max is on the
Deep
field.
down.
Max is on
Absolute
the field. He's
beat
done.
down.
Oh man.
Let's go.
Oh, Toss, your boys are going to Qatar, man.
This is crazy.
Since
This is
1986,
crazy.
35 years.
I wasn't even born.
86 was a good year.
It was a good year. Vintage year, you might say, as an 86er.
Yeah.
What's this mean for Canadian soccer? It's done. Like, we're not talking about when, if, assuming. Like, there's no assumptions. It's done.
This is the next step. I just think about all those kids watching. Like, their national team is dominating CONCACAF, which means all of them, when it comes to their time, they should be dominating CONCACAF too. You know, like this generation watched a lot of these guys on the field watch us not succeed and watch us fail, which probably inspired them. But think about the inspiration now of watching them succeed and doing it with such fashion. You know, so hopefully this is the start of a big change for not only the national team, but the grassroots programs, CPL even. You know, let's get that league going. You know, let's really build the infrastructure of Canada soccer, so this doesn't become a one and two done for 2022 and 2026. That this becomes something that is, you know, Canada is top of the table. You know, and if they're not, you're asking why.
Watch out CONCACAF. I would say watch out World too, because
Yeah.
one of the things I would say about Canadian soccer is that we're seeing something incredible here, but I don't know that we're seeing anything close to the potential of the country from a sporting sense when it comes to soccer. We've just seen investment infrastructure get to the levels that they are today. Like we're not even seeing the benefits really of CPL yet, of the additional opportunities, of the training opportunities for kids, of just having professional players to model yourself afterwards on a daily basis. This to me, and that's what makes it so exciting, this is just sort of a realization of like, aha, this is the light bulb coming on. You know what I mean? Like what happens when the light bulb stays on?
Mm-hmm.
That's what starts to get really exciting. And it's really exciting as, you know, as someone who loves CONCACAF, to see another power rise. And you can't say it another way. This is a power. They have dominated. They have lost one time in Costa Rica in circumstances in which they didn't truly need a result and they had a tough red card against them.
Vittoria
Look at
might
that
never
bench.
play again.
Just give me
He's
the
just-
bench. I don't even
he's
need to
just a
watch the
fan
game.
at this point. Steven Vittoria doesn't even care.
They're hugging on the bench. They're like, like nuzzling each other's shoulders. Like, what an amazing moment this is. What a feeling it must be for all these guys.
But those are the type of things that you want to see, and it really just rewrites the narrative of what's happening in the region. For so long, we've seen U.S. Mexico battle it out, neck and neck, each qualifying cycle, and the Lahoud theorem. I'm going to go off the 1B off the Goss theorem.
Nice.
We're just
For-
inventing theorems.
For CONCACAF soccer is whoever finishes top in CONCACAF typically has a bit of a rougher go in the World Cup itself when they get there. And my dog agrees because he's barking. He agrees. That boy, Reg.
That is also good
So,
ECR
but
logic
with-
as well.
Yeah, but with this Canadian team, I think that they're going to break the Lahoud theorem. And I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with as long as they keep players healthy, in particular, as long as Jonathan David and some of their key players, Kyle Larin, Atiba Hutchinson, the leader as he is in the locker room, these are the key guys that have to stay healthy. Because if these guys can stay healthy and bring in half the form that they're bringing in CONCACAF, I know I would want to play them.
Toss, I think you're right, by the way. It looks like Daniil Henry's already getting the party started on the sideline there. Just waving fans down onto the field.
Can I also say that the fact that, you expect them to have blankets on the bench, but Canada has the, buffalo check blanket, the black and white checkered, flannel blankets. That's just
You gotta stay on brand,
extremely
man.
on brand. That is so on brand.
Patriotic.
Well, by the way, it is 2-1 Costa Rica right before halftime.
Oh, I shouldn't have said Lahoud theorem.
Yeah, a little bit a turnover in a tough spot by El Salvador, and just it looks like Joel Campbell, super easy.
He's so good.
Yeah, he's a.
Yeah, they just easy
They're
one,
getting
easy
hot
one
at
for
the right
Costa Rica.
time.
That's not exactly what we see. Whenever we get a chance here, Produce and Anders, I say we jump it back to give us these live standings. Hopefully they have updated, just so we get a little feel for what's going to go down here. Cool. By the way,
they just cut away from the Canada game. Did they score while they cut?
Yeah.
oh my God, they scored. Cut back.
It was a good. Why did they cut away?
What? No,
it was they were literally on a break.
Give us this Costa Rica goal.
Okay, thank you. We're on NBC Universo. I just want the vibes, man. I just want all the vibes. Look, this is a celebration.
Again.
This is perfect. And it's Sam, man. He absolutely deserves it. That might have been
nice. OG.
That might have been that's his worst service of the game. He scuffed it. And then it got scuffed in for an own goal. That's rough.
That Mariappa? Ooh.
That's rough for Jamaica.
It's gonna be a party there tonight.
Yeah.
By the way, props to Mariappa. He hit 60 caps, I think, with this game. So he's had a career to continue, but he's had a really nice career with Jamaica. So props to him. That's a tough moment in your 60th, but there it is. Oh man, it'll be fun to be in Toronto tonight. It would be really fun to be is it Broad Street? Am I getting that right? I'm trying to remember back to my drunken nights in Toronto.
Bay Street.
Bay Street.
Maybe is what you're.
Queen Anne. Just everyone's hanging out on Queen Anne.
Yeah. Can we fuel up the MLS jet? Just pick us up at each of our places and just beeline it there right now.
That would be nice.
You guys, we all made a mistake being on this show. We should have all been in Toronto.
Yeah, I know.
What
She
do you
just
guys
done
have
it
done?
live,
Maybe I
live
should
in
have gone.
live in Toronto on the field, just freezing cold.
Also with Tosaint, shout out one of the names that pops to my head is Bobby Smirniotis, who started Sigma out in Brampton, and literally half the players who have played today came through his academy.
Wow.
And Tosaint talked about it before of having those grassroots to get players through, and his belief that Canadian players were good enough to challenge in the world. Kyle Larin, Richie Larea, Tajon Buchanan, 3 for sure that came through their setup, but I think I'm missing a few as well. Ridiculous.
There it is, final whistle. Canada are going to the World Cup.
That's it.
Canada are going to Qatar 2022. They're celebrating on the field. They are waving the flag. It is a party.
Whoa.
In Toronto, it's a party. In Brampton, it's a party. In Montreal, it's a party everywhere. In Vancouver, too. This is your moment. Tosaint, we'll just step out of the way, man.
I'm tweeting right now. I had to just tweet.
Yes.
Get the tweet out. Fire it off, baby.
Fire 'em off.
Wow.
Milan Borjan, hands up.
Man.
Sam Adekube, hands on his face. Just can't believe it. They should believe it. They're the best team in CONCACAF in this qualifying cycle. No other team can catch them. I mean, I guess the U.S. and Mexico could, but I don't think we'll get the goal differential to do it. What's this mean? What's this mean? It's over. It's done. Give us a capping moment, Toss. What do you think?
I mean, just so well deserved. I mean, as just everything we've gone through with even just, I mean, obviously the whole world, but these players, you know, just with the whole pandemic, everything just being in such a disconnect. It's things like this that really bring a country together and show that there's good things around the corner, good things coming for everyone really. And just so happy to see everyone here. Even look at DeVos, you know, what it means to him, and Atiba, you know, the everyone who has literally dedicated their lives to this program. John Herdman as well, working his way up from the women's to the men for this moment for Canadians. You know, this is huge, and you know, we're going to the World Cup. It's crazy to say, but we're going to the World Cup.
I just want to throw out there, following in the path of one of the best women's programs in the world too, by the way. So we're talking about it as if Canada hasn't been. Well, they have just on the women's side and have been wildly successful doing so too. And now the men follow suit. And what a fitting qualification cycle too, to go through sort of the rigmarole of, as you said earlier, Dave, of not even knowing if you would get this opportunity. Of thinking maybe this is out of our grasp. We're going to have to do something miraculous just to even have the chance to play for this. And then not just to play for it, to run your way through qualifying, to get in the octagonal, for people to say, oh, well, maybe. And then for Canada to respond and say, not maybe. We're slamming the door on the rest of you fools. Like, going to Azteca, no problem. Going to Nashville, don't worry about us. Coming to Edmonton, get ready to get slapped. Like, this is plus 17. Look, 28 points, plus 17 goal differential.
Yeah, wild. Best defensive team in qualifying, and the best attacking team, which wasn't expected. Yeah, it's been awesome to watch. It's fun to watch talented people who believe in themselves sort of come together. Tosaint talked about everything they've been through and the travel they've gone through. That's why I kind of keep coming back to like what Kyle Larin did. Jonathan David couldn't get out of France for the beginning of qualifying. Fonzie's been hurt. You know, you've seen Eustachio at times not come, but Laren's been there. And a lot of these guys, they fought through a ton. It's awesome to watch. And it's a perfect model for Canada. I think that the saying is always, it's a mosaic in Canada of people from all parts of the world, all walks of life that come together to create, you know, some great things. And this national team's the perfect example of it. Players from all different backgrounds coming through all different systems, styles, beliefs, all these things to come together to create something truly incredible. It's been fun to watch. I think it's been a necessary thing at this time in the world to have them as an example, and Fonzo Davies being the biggest one. I mean, the kid's unreal, and he's a kid still, which is ridiculous to say. So it's going to be so much fun to watch them play at a World Cup. They've earned it. They've deserved it. And I wouldn't want to be in a group with them. Whatever country you're from, whatever team you root for, that's not you don't want to see a maple leaf come out of one of those plastic balls coming up in a week or so.
Shout out to the comment section. We have a ton of Canadians in there shouting out where they're at from, let's see, Surrey, Maple Ridge, North Vancouver.
Richmond.
Yeah, Port Coquitlam, which I don't know how to say, Port Moody, Abbotsford, all over the place. Thanks for watching with us, all of you. I mean, the last thing that we'll end on, and remember that we'll have a watch along for the U.S. game as well. Matt Doyle, Susanna Collins, and Michael Lahoud's going to stick around and do that. He's going through the full.
He's doing 3 games in one window. The full CONCACAF experience.
Exactly.
That's why we're letting him take it easy.
Can't rotate. You can only rotate part of the squad. All right, Qatar. Let's look ahead, man. What are your hopes, your wishes for Qatar?
Honestly, get us in a group. You know, get us there, and I'm confident that these boys will prove any doubters or naysayers wrong again. You know, this group is fearless. They're going to attack Qatar in the same way, and I'm ready. I can't wait, and I hope I'm there in some capacity whether it's watching along on a panel or just anything to support these guys. Definitely going to be rooting for them every step of the way. So happy,
Canada,
so proud.
First World Cup since 1986. I don't think any of the people on this panel were born at that time.
I have one thing to add, and it's a call to action. We all, in the soccer world, we all have a Canadian friend. We know someone who's from Canada, obviously. We have Toss, who's from Canada, on the panel with us. Get your phone. Tell them you love them. Tell them congratulations, because this is history in the making. My boy Tony from the Great White North up in Canada just text me yes. So I'm going to tell him congratulations, Tony. So you do the same. Only call to action. My last thing I'll say.
And if they text you back, we're going to mess you up. If we ever face you in the World Cup, don't be surprised, because they might.
Yeah.
They might. They've been doing that for a little while now. Final thoughts, Dave? You got anything?
No, just what I said. I think watching this program for a really long time and traveling up to Canada and watching young players and watching the people who I think fought for the game and cared about it. I feel really good for them. As Michael said, I'm going to start texting a bunch of people saying congrats, saying especially to you, to enjoy it, battling through, being ignored at times, not mentioned when you should have been, maybe bad calls here or there, whatever's happened. And I think this is a well-deserved moment. It's just exciting to see. This is a team that has taken over the country. And I mentioned it, 10 p.m. on Wednesday night, they had 1 million people watch that game. That's never been the case for a Canada soccer game. And now everything is must-watch television. And going into this World Cup, the sport's going to grow. The leagues are being grown. The academies are getting bigger. It's going to keep rolling forward. But all of these players will have a place in history for having done this the first time. And it's been awesome to watch.
I made a joke in the beginning of this show about a 7-1 scoreline. And I think for a long time, Canada's had to live with some of those jokes. But I don't think those are relevant anymore. I think those days are over. And if you're not serious and you're not maybe even a little bit scared about what this team and what this program and what this country can be when it comes to soccer in our region, and I said it before, the world, you're not paying attention. What they've done in this qualifying cycle, what these players have done, the example they've set, I think you're spot on, Tosaint, in saying, who's watching this? Who's being inspired by this? Who's changing the way that they think about themselves, the way they think about the world, the way they think about their country from this? There are thousands of kids, probably tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds, that are thinking that and thinking, I want to be Atiba. I want to be Kyle. I want to be Alphonso Davies. I want to be these guys. And they have the tools and the resources to go be those people. And I can't wait to see what that means for Canadian soccer. And, of course, I'll be on the other side of the U.S. hoping that we're keeping pace and hope we're throwing, counter punches back. But it's a wonderful time to be a fan of CONCACAF. It's a wonderful time to be a fan of Canada. Anything you got left in the tank, Tosaint? You got to. I mean, I know Vanny's got the day off tomorrow, so you probably got to shut this thing down. And there's somewhere you got to be, man. You got to go.
No, I just can't wait to just speak to the guys and congratulate them. Just so proud, man. What a moment. What a moment.
It's a beautiful day. Beautiful day in CONCACAF. A beautiful day outside. I'm gonna go enjoy it with my family for a little while, and then tear my hair out as the U.S. face Panama in Orlando. We'll have the watch along here right on YouTube. So if you want to stick around, come back. It'll be a different stream for you. Matt Doyle, Susanna Collins, Michael Lahoud will stick around and do that. And hopefully we're having another party at the end of that one. Fingers crossed on that. We will see how the results go. Right now, Costa Rica is still up 2-1, so they are tied with U.S. and Mexico on 22 points. Canada cannot be caught, though. 28 points, plus 17 goal differential. They will, in all likelihood, finish atop the octagonal, when many thought that maybe they wouldn't even be in the octagonal in the first place. That's it for us. Thank you. Huge thank you to everybody who watched along with us. It's been a blast. These are some of the most fun that I have talking about soccer, just getting to sit around with people who know the game,